Hey everyone, how are y'all? Hey White Widow Baby, how are you? Hold on, y'all. I gotta cut this off on my computer real quick. Okay. Hey, see you later. How are you? American Princess, I'm glad to hear that you're doing good tonight. White Widow Baby, I'm doing good. Hey Dan, how are you? Princess Megan, you doing okay tonight? Hey King Scarlet, how are you? Hey Rosie. Dan Davis, how are you? K Mash, you doing alright tonight? Hey Just Ann, hey Cindy, or I'm sorry, not Cindy, Candy, how are you tonight? Princess Megan, they're okay. They haven't really been bothering me the last few days. Hey Evie, how are you? Jojo, how are you tonight? Uh, Elliot, you doing alright tonight? Hey Freya, how are you? K Mash, I'm doing good. Crime Crazy, how are you? Hey No Way, how are you? Hey Ray, how are you doing tonight? Cammy, how are you? See, sorry I haven't been around, had surgery, and oh, Candy, I hate to hear you had to have surgery, but it is good to hear that you are cancer free. That is awesome news. Oh, 33 stable. Honey, I hope you heal quick. Hey, Duckin, how are you? Oh, Duckin, that's fine, honey. Thank you for letting us know. Yes, to hear Candy is cancer free, that is awesome, awesome news. But prayers that you heal quickly. Hey, Emerald Queen, how are you? Hey, Musical, how are you? I seen somebody say hi to Tanya or to Tanya. Princess Megan, where do you see her at? I don't see her in my chat. Hey, G, how are you? Oh, titanium build. Okay. All right. Werewolf Queen, how are you tonight? Panelists YouTube kidnapped her. I was looking for the name Tanya because I know that there was a Tanya in here like a few nights ago. Hey LJ, how are you? So somebody asked in the chat, I don't remember now who it was. I do apologize, but it was before the live even started. If it seems like all of this is going on with Bryan Kohberger and what's led up till tomorrow, does it seem like it's went by quick for everybody? Hey Evie, how are you? Do y'all think it seemed like it went by quick or did it take forever? Oh, see, I call her. Oh, okay. See, Princess Megan, you had me confused there for a second. Michelle, that's what I said. It's taken forever, it seems like. Titanium Built said quick. I mean, the murders happened 6 months ago, or a little over 6 months now. And it may seem quick. It's just, I don't know. To some people anyway. But it seems like it took forever with me. So I usually don't wish my weekends away, but King Scarlet, I cannot wait for tomorrow. Uh, Now, Titanium Built, yeah, I thought we were too, and I even put a countdown on my calendar all the way to the 26th, which seemed like that was taking forever. But at least now we're seeing movement, like the last week or so with all the court documents that came out and everything. So at least we're seeing something happen. Gee, I almost just can't contain myself to have to wait till tomorrow. The first time I'll say I can't wait till Monday, you'll never hear me say that again. Hey, Kelly M, how are you? Yeah, usually the first of the week sucks, but I can't wait for tomorrow. Do you think that more info will be released tomorrow? Gee, probably. I don't. More than likely to be after all of the arraignment and everything is over with. Then we'll probably start seeing some more court documents. Pagan Ways, how are you? See, was this a court date that just popped up today? No, Candy. They had a grand jury last Tuesday, I believe it was, and then we all started hearing about the grand jury the next day. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday they had the grand jury, and then once that happened and the indictment came down for the 4 counts of first degree murder plus the count on burglary, then they scheduled the arraignment for tomorrow. See, rumor is they may release a redacted version of the indictment after tomorrow's proceedings. Gee, and it seems like I've seen something about an indictment supposed to be released, but I don't remember where I seen that at. It was Thursday night. Okay, thank you, Elliot. See, then out of nowhere, Dateline releases their next episode real fast, in my opinion. K-Price, I thought about that too. Like the indictment comes down, they even had that included in their episode, and then they just threw the episode out there. Candy, we've missed you too, honey, but we are so, so happy that you are starting to do better. And hopefully soon you will start feeling better. Hey, Obsessed for Disneyland, how are you? Hey, Vapor, how are you? Tuesday grand jury was held. Okay, I knew it was Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, I've got my days run together. Vapor, I'm doing good, thank you. Because I just remember the next day I woke up and there it was, the whole grand jury thing and all that. Okay, so don't really have just any certain thing to talk about tonight. So I'm going to address something real quick. And then after that, I'm probably going to open up the panel, let whoever wants to come up and talk about the Kohberger case. I do kind of want to keep it on topic tonight on panel, and probably not going to be on here as long as I usually do, just because I do want to get some sleep tonight so I can get up early in the morning. Um, but who knows? It may go the full 4 hours. We don't ever know. Um, but I do want to hear all of your opinions and what y'all are thinking is possibly going to happen after tomorrow. Um, hey, Ava, how are you? So, whoever wants to come up on panel, you're more than welcome to. So, what? Hold on, give me just 1 second before I get started. Okay, sorry about that. Hey, Sally Mae, how are you tonight? So, anyway, a couple of things I want to address real quick. I don't want any type of political talk in the chat. And the reason for that is that YouTube will start flagging people. Hey, who's that girl? How are you? Because there are certain things that they don't like being said and blah, 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 and all that. Next thing is, please be respectful to each other in the chat. Like, we're all adults here. We don't all have to agree with everybody else. It's better to just agree to disagree and move on instead of all the arguing and all that. Like, we're a bunch of middle school kids. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Hey, Dennis, how are you? Everybody is entitled to their opinions. Not everybody's going to agree with you. Not everybody agrees with me. But we can all express our opinions here without people being bashed and talked about and all that. Dennis, you hadn't missed anything yet. I'm just now getting started. I just got done saying hi to everybody. Hey, Glowbug, how are you? So that was a few things that I wanted to address. No being, like I said, no disrespect going on at all in the chat. I don't want any homophobic comments in the chat. We don't do that over here. We don't judge people for their lifestyles. If it makes them happy, then I'm happy for them. No racial stuff in the chat, which I ain't really had a problem with that. I'm just throwing it out there. Trying to think. I had a whole list of stuff in my head tonight, and I done forgot. No disrespect to my mods. Oh, shit, I didn't. Y'all, I should have made a list. If I think of anything else, I'll put it in chat. But for sure, no political stuff. I had to even put that in the chat last night because there was a lady that was saying some stuff, and some of the stuff that she said, it could have gotten flagged. So I don't need all that. This is a true crime channel. I know we may get on the subject of something else from time to time, which is fine, but I would rather leave that part out. Hey, Brad, how are you? Yeah, right. And I missed a lot of what was being said in the chat last night. Karma, how are you? and I couldn't keep up with it. And I was going to go back and read the chat today, and I've kind of just laid around. Um, I was getting answers to things I've been looking for 40 years. I know, Vapor. I understand. It's just I can't have YouTube coming in and flagging my chat or my channel for stuff like that. Oh, and another thing while I'm thinking about it, um, the reason why the mods type in all caps is because it's easier whenever they're saying something, because a lot of times I may be reading comments, and if they're all in lowercase or whatever, I may not be able to tell that it's a mod versus just a sub. So that is the reason why the mods type in all caps. So telling my mods to stop yelling, or asking why they're yelling, or telling them to go clean their ears out. Yeah, we're not doing that either. That is the reason why they do it. It's easier for me to grab on to one of their comments versus everybody else. I think that was everything. Like I said, if I come up with anything else, if I can think of anything else, I will bring it up. And yes, right. I mean, and it helps others in chat also. Um, it's just easier for me to grab onto there, because if I see just all caps in a comment, then I know it's one of the mods, and I don't have to worry about trying to go through and look at their who's making the comment. Let's see. I just seen another. Okay, I'm not kissing up here. I think you have some of the more friendly and interactive mods. And thank you, just the facts, Michelle. I mean, the chat wasn't that bad last night, but I was wondering if it was a full moon. And I even went and Googled it today, and it wasn't. But hopefully things will be better tonight. Hey, Amy, how are you? Thank you. See you later. Okay. Let me see what else. Like I said, whenever we do panel tonight, uh, if we can possibly stay on track with the Bryan Kohberger stuff, tomorrow, 9 o'clock their time, not Nevada, Idaho time, they're going to do the arraignment. I know that Brian Enton's supposed to be there. There's going to be a couple of other people that's going to be there. I'm going to be up watching Twitter, watching YouTube, trying to catch all of the stuff as it's coming in. Um, same time. Vapor, what do you mean same time? So anyway, if I can get enough stuff gathered up, I may go live earlier tomorrow. I really appreciate how you. Thank you, Just on. Amy, no, they're not going to live stream it. There will be a camera in there for the audio video. Oh, Nevada versus Idaho. Okay. Um, there will be a camera in there for video and audio, and there will be a camera in the court for still shots. They're going to record it, but the judge is not allowing it to be live streamed. And then once the proceedings are over with, then they're going to put it out on YouTube. I believe wasn't it Court TV supposed to do the camera with the video on it, I believe. And then they're going to distribute it out to everybody. And they said it would also be put on YouTube for everybody to see as well. So once it's put out on YouTube, then I will probably play it tomorrow night. Jen, I think it was Court TV. Let me see if I still got the screenshot real quick. Hold on. because I had a screenshot. And I had a screenshot I was going to show y'all last night. I don't remember. Did I show y'all the one from Dateline? Because I remember saying that I had something that Dateline had tweeted, but I don't remember if I showed it to y'all or not. Yes, I did see that WFLA is supposed to do something also. I believe JB had put out a few days ago that as soon as it hits, they are going to show it. But let me hold on. Okay, let me pull this up real quick. I remember showing this the other night. The Dateline thing, I don't remember if I showed, but I'll pull it back up in just a second, just in case. So, yes, Court TV will operate the pool camera or pool video cameras inside the courtroom. Court TV will allow people to plug in on site to receive feed after. We'll also put a video on YouTube for distribution that way. Como and the Associated Press are not pool, but will help distribute the video further. Como will share it via satellite uplink with various Seattle TV stations who can provide it to their network affiliates. The AP will get a copy from Como and also forward it to various contacts. And then the still photography will be handled by the Lewiston Tribune. So we've got that. And let me see, where did my tweet go that I had right here? This is what I don't remember if I showed it or not. And tomorrow, y'all, I will be back to 2 screens. It's so much easier. All right, so this was put out, said we're told that law enforcement agents surveilling Bryan Kohberger in Pennsylvania almost ran their car into him one night. He was walking by the side of the road wearing gloves, carrying his trash to a neighbor's garbage can, and it was 4 a.m. Now, that's what a Dateline producer has put out. Hey, Gregory, how are you? And we had heard that FBI was watching him. They seen him put the trash in the neighbor's can and all that. Like that had came out. Still wondering about Dateline's whole their sources. Yorkie Mama, how are you? See, I'm late. I was looking for the Dateline from the other night. Yorkie Mama, it's on Peacock. That would have been awesome. Yeah, if they would have maybe just broke a leg or something, but we still need him to go to court because the kids still need justice and the family still need justice. But I don't know about the whole almost running their car into him. If they were surveilling him, hey, Miss Chewy, why would they be driving their car down the road? Okay, thank you, Marissa. I couldn't remember if I did or not. I remember saying that I had a tweet from Dateline that I was going to show y'all, and I remember getting it out of my email. I just couldn't remember if I showed it or not. But I don't get if they were surveilling him, how did they almost run their car into him? If you're surveilling someone, wouldn't you be sitting still? Hey, Justice A to Z, how are you? Amethyst, how are you? See, I found it. Thank you. Got it. I'm watching and listening to you. Had to watch my American Idol. Yorkie Mama, a lot of it we've already heard about. There was a few different things that was new, but I still question the sources. Okay, put his ass in the hospital and the next day arrest him in the hospital with the same agents. Yeah, but how do you surveil somebody while you're driving down the road? Justice, I'm doing good, thank you. Okay. So now I can move this to my folder. So I know that I have showed it to y'all. Stephen G would have loved it. Yeah, he would have. I don't know. I just the source thing is what's bugging the shit out of me. Someone in the passenger seat. Yeah, but like it seems like if you're watching somebody, you're like parked down the street from the house, and you're not driving. You don't want him to. You don't want to take a chance on him seeing you. Anything like that. Reba, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. You don't want the person that you're watching to know that you're watching them. So, how are you going to get any good information or good intel or anything like that if you're driving down the road? Wait, what happened with Miss Chewy? Hold on 1 second, y'all. Juniper Rob, how are you? Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to find out why y'all are telling Miss Chewy y'all are sorry. What happened? Miss Chewy, I don't know what's going on, honey, but I hope everything is okay. Who's that girl? That was something that I wasn't expecting about his sister suspecting him. Didn't she lose? Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember that now, Emerald Queen. Miss Chewy, I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. And yeah, white widow baby. I remember now that you told me that. So I do apologize. I I didn't remember that. But Miss Chewy, I'm sorry to hear that, honey. And we're gonna pray for you and your family. Hey Tonka, how are you? Obsessed for Disneyland. You doing okay tonight? See, was that even verified about? No, Tonka. It was just something um, that it was put out on Dateline, and honestly, that's the first time I'd ever heard about it. I've never heard anything else about the sisters other than the sisters had had lost their jobs, which I don't know if that's even true. That that's just something else that's been put out there by sources. Sweet Melissa, how are you? I don't believe much of anything that came from the Dateline report. I mean, there's nothing that there with any they provided no proof as far as the stuff that they put out regarding what happened with the case and all that. Now, the doctor gave good insight to some things when he's talking about Bryan. Um, there was one guy that I seen on there. I don't remember what his name is, but on his shirt, the foundation that um, oh shit, I can't remember his name now. The interview room dude. Hey Nina, how are you? Um, what is his name? The guy that does the interview room. The foundation that he does. Is it Cold Case Foundation? I think it's what it's called. I seen that on the one guy's shirt that was on there. Yeah, I seen that one of the guys on there had that on his shirt. I want to say he was like ex FBI. So he did give Chris McDonough. Thank you, Amethyst. I cannot think of the man's name. He did give some good insight to things and how uh, people like Bryan has been portrayed because, and I'm just going to say it like that because we don't know if any of it's true, but he did give some good information about how people like that act, how they think, just based off of his experience and stuff like that. Let's see, didn't the news used to have three sources before they print a report? No way, I believe it used to be like it. It was like two or three sources. And I don't think they go by that anymore. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. Make sure I'm exiting off the right stuff off the screen real quick, so I don't exit out of StreamYard. All right, so like I said, just try to keep it civil in chat tonight. No disrespect to anybody else or the mods. If y'all are up on panel, just let's try to keep it on Bryan Kohberger and the Idaho 4. I really want to hear people's thoughts on this and what they think is going to happen possibly after tomorrow. I do know that once if he, which I don't think he's going to plead guilty. I think he's just going to plead not guilty and is going to go to trial. But I did read, and they're even doing this with Lloyd Vallow, that once there is a guilty plea or a conviction before the sentencing phase or the date of his sentence, they have to do a pre-sentence report where they want to know everything about him, like the judge does, his social life, all these different things, because they're saying that the judge will take into consideration the sentencing part of it. Hey, Sandra, how are you? Gregory, how are you?
Hey, Scarlett, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, I thought I might come up on panel tonight since the invitation was there.
Well, thank you so much for coming up. Vapor, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. How about you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Vapor.
Hey, how you doing, Greg?
Good, how are you, sir?
I'm not bad.
Good.
So, what do y'all think is going to happen tomorrow?
There's going to be an arraignment.
Well, I know that. I mean, at the arraignment.
I think that he's going to plead not guilty.
Okay.
I really don't know after that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how his mannerisms are now after being sitting in someplace for the last 5-6 months.
Right. Or even how much weight he's lost.
He's probably fat again.
You think?
I don't know. I don't think he'll be fat again, but I'm just saying.
I don't know. You're sitting in a jail cell with nobody around you. You're eating pretty much peanut butter every day. And you're in there for 4 counts of first-degree murder and looking at the death penalty possibly.
Yeah. Well, I think he's known that. He knew that. He knew it when he committed the crime, what he was going to get.
Right. Gregory, what are your thoughts? I haven't got to listen to you for a while, so I want to hear your opinions on this.
Well, my opinion on it is just like back in Pennsylvania, he said he was eager to to go to Idaho to be exonerated. I believe he has too big of an ego to plead guilty. And I think he's just enough of a narcissist to believe that he can beat the charges.
Right. I think the narcissism, the ego, the control issues, I think it's all going to come into play tomorrow. And I don't see him pleading guilty because he's not gonna admit to any guilt at all.
I don't think so. And if he did plead guilty, I think it would be like an Aiden Fucci situation where even his attorney was completely flabbergasted.
Yeah, because he did it whenever they went in and started doing the day of jury selection. He just walked in and told his attorney he wanted to change his plea. I wonder if Bryan is gonna. I don't see him plead guilty. But if he was, y'all think he would plead guilty tomorrow, or do y'all think he would wait until the whole right before the trial?
I mean, it kind of depends on how much of the evidence they have that he knows about.
So you don't think maybe Ann has showed any everything to him, or are you talking about what they haven't given to Ann and them yet?
I mean, maybe they haven't given her everything. Maybe they just, like I said, I think they waited to do the grand jury because they were waiting on something to come back. And when they got it, they did the grand jury. But I don't know if she probably has it now. I don't know. I don't know how.
I need to look that up because is she required to tell him everything that she has?
Is she? Yeah. I mean, I would think she would, but I don't know that.
I mean, what lawyer wouldn't tell the client everything that the defense has? I mean, the lawyer gets all this information from the prosecution. The lawyer gets all this information from the prosecution, and if there's stuff in there that she doesn't understand or surprised by, she could go to him and say, hey, you know anything about this? Because I didn't expect this.
True. And did y'all hear on the Dateline thing where it said that all of Bryan's mail, instead of it going to the jail to him, that it's going to her office, and then she determines what he gets to see and what he doesn't?
I did, yeah.
But they're talking about he's getting, well, now see, that's one thing. Hey, headphones, how are you? But then there was something else, an article that came out from somebody, the source for the article was someone who works in the jail. And they're claiming that Bryan is getting like a dozen letters a week from all these women, and it's got hearts on it and stars and colored envelopes and all this and that. So we're hearing two different stories here.
Yeah, we sure are.
So that's the problem. You hear multiple stories about one certain thing, and you don't know what is true and what's not.
That's right. I wondered if, and I understand what Vapor was making, the point he was making, but I wondered if the reason the prosecution didn't want the grand jury as far as indicting Kohberger is because the defense, if the preliminary hearing was going to be held, that the defense was going to essentially be able to destroy Bethany's testimony, and it could possibly, exonerate Kohberger. I think there was a reason that they wanted that secret grand jury, indictment, and I believe it was to protect their case.
Are you talking about Bethany or Dylan's? Because Bethany agreed to have a meeting in lieu of having to go to the preliminary hearing.
Yeah, but was that held? Was that meeting held?
I'm sure that it even if it wasn't, it still will be. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they still did that, even though there was a grand jury and all that.
and the bottom line is, if Bethany knows something that proves without a shadow of a doubt he didn't do it, then just get it out there, let his ass out, and find the real people. Because if he really didn't do it, we're all wasting our damn time, and there's going to be a whole shitload of families pissed off.
Right. Yeah, and this if there is somebody else out there and it wasn't him, they could potentially do this to someone else because they're
Right.
saying that they got away with it this time. So what's to say they're not going to do it to somebody else, thinking that they're going to get away with it again?
Right.
Hey, Jamie, how are you?
I mean, I don't understand some of these. I mean, most of these serial killers all have an MO. You know, they
Right.
all like, oh, somebody. I don't know. I just don't understand why. If you're going to be a serial killer, switch it up every time so they can't start piecing bodies together. You know.
They probably do it the same way because all these SKs get like this certain name. They're either they give it to themselves or the police will give them a certain name, uh, and it gets it put out to the public if it's done the same way that there's an SK going on.
Well, but then
It gets
they're
the
basically,
recognition.
it's just a base. It's basically a matter of time until you get caught. If you're gonna, do the same thing every time, so somebody gives you a name, you're out there wanting popularity instead of
Right.
committing a crime to feed your bloodlust or whatever reasons these people have for doing these things. Then it's almost like the crime is secondary to you wanting popularity.
Yeah, I mean, the popularity is probably a plus to them and their sick, twisted mind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll get your popularity if and when you get caught. But
True.
why? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like I said,
Well, I think you get your ego fed when you're reading about your crimes in the paper. Um, because if you remember, so many serial killers, when they've caught them, like they've found in their apartments or their homes where they've had a bulletin board with all their different, unalivings, cut out and stuck up, almost like a badge of honor or something.
yeah, it's like their little scrapbook.
Right.
Well, I guess. I mean, maybe that, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not a psychotic person like they are. I mean, to me, if I was going to do all that stuff, there would be a reason for it. And it wouldn't be done for popularity. It would be done to accomplish what I needed to do to get rid of the person for whatever reason that I wanted them gone.
Right.
I wouldn't want to get caught.
Well, okay, so let me ask y'all this real quick while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so they had subpoenaed Bethany to be there on June 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then they quashed the subpoena, and and she had to agree to do the interview with Bryan's legal team.
Okay.
So I wonder if they, because they did the grand jury, would she still have to do the interview with Bryan's legal team?
I mean,
Well,
if they didn't do the interview before the grand jury, I'm sure her lawyer said, you know what? No more. There would be no reason for the subpoena anymore, and we're not going to agree to anything at this point.
So I was wondering about that because maybe that could be possibly the reason why they did the grand jury, or one reason why they did the grand jury, was to keep her from having to go talk to the legal team, but she could still come in and do whatever she needed to do for the grand jury.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about too. Does that mean since the grand jury witness list is sealed, it makes me think that Bethany and Dylan's testimonies were both given?
So that's what I was wondering, if maybe if she did go in and testify anyway, but it was only before it was just for the grand jury, then yeah, I would think that her attorney would probably be like, no, like we're not going to do that because we've already done what we needed to do, and she's already told what she needed to tell,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of got rid of that interview also, because I think that if Bryan's team, for whatever reason, and they're claiming exculpatory evidence, I think that we're going to try to do a little bit of intimidation.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
They would have showed up with 10 people, and she'd have been sitting there with one.
Right. And so, I mean, that could have been a reason why they decided for a grand jury. I've also thought of maybe the state and the evidence that they have, they didn't want it challenged by the Bryan's team.
Yeah,
Cross and all that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hinting at when I mentioned that comment earlier, about the fact that, could the defense team more or less destroy, Bethany's testimony? But yeah, I think that, that the what you were saying, Scarlett, is what happened, and that they have the testimony of both of them.
Well, at this point, I don't even believe Bethany was going to testify at the preliminary hearing. She didn't get the subpoena from the prosecution. Nothing about anything she has to say or anything she knows is in the PCA. So, I mean, the prosecution didn't send her a subpoena. The defense did.
Right. And that subpoena was based off of what the investigator that Ann Taylor has working for her, him claiming that when he went through all of this stuff, that he found exculpatory evidence, or that he found that Bethany had exculpatory evidence.
Yeah, if I was Bethany's lawyer, I would have set parameters to that meeting also. You can have 2 people in the room, that's it.
Hold on one second. Elliot, I see the second. Okay, yes, I see both of them. Okay, so real quick, Elliot says the Lost Souls and Panelists, many SKs have fantasies, desires, drive that is very similar to, if not identical to, a sexual drive, desire, fantasy, reading, thinking, acting it out is. Let me find the second part. Wait, what did it say? Oh, here we go. Is like porn and causes a form of arousal, then mental, sometimes physical. I hope y'all see that in the chat. And I know that may sound gross, but it's true. And that makes sense.
Yeah. There's a word for that. I can't remember what it is, but basically it's like if you're in the middle of stabbing somebody, you're getting like an erotic, you're getting off on it.
Yeah, like the guy on Dateline said, it's the knife is just an extension of his appendage.
Yeah. I do wonder if because it did mention in the PCA about the digital, there was something about the digital footprint, if you would, between Bethany and Dylan's phone, I believe, that they somehow used. And you wonder if the defense team might have somehow, gathered some information from Bethany's, phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently this investigator has found something somewhere, but it only pertains to Bethany. And now, if they sent a subpoena to Dylan, it didn't get put out to the public that there was one sent to her.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, one juror, how are you? I can't wait for tomorrow, though.
Well, unfortunately, tomorrow's going to be good and bad. I mean, we're going to get to see something, but are they going to set after the arraignment? Is the judge going to set it for a trial date? Because the last thing I want to hear tomorrow is you're going to be held over for trial, no bail, blah, blah, blah. Trial is going to begin 2027.
Okay, so I heard it might have been a video that I was listening to that had an attorney on it. But they said that possibly tomorrow, so he'll go in, more than likely will plead not guilty. Ava, it's 9 o'clock Pacific time. So he'll go in, he'll more than likely plead not guilty, and then they will possibly at that time schedule a trial date. But then there is a chance that that trial date they can come in and ask for more time, and that trial date get pushed back.
Right. They'll probably have that trial date, or before that trial date, they'll probably have kind of a pre-trial meeting to see where everybody stands, whether they need more time or not.
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't that depend on if Bryan requests a speedy trial? Not that there's any reason to think he would, but if he did, then I think they only have 6 months, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. If he requests a speedy trial, then, like I said the other night when I was up here, that's another reason why I think they may have done the grand jury and waited to do it, was because they wanted to make sure that they had everything they needed in case he requests a speedy trial and they don't have to still be waiting on stuff to come back.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ann Taylor's going to want a speedy trial.
No, I don't either, especially with 51 terabytes
and was it 10,000 documents? And
yeah,
I don't think she's going to want a speedy trial.
No, and I also think she wants to get as much money out of this as possible.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because just think if it goes, let's just say they schedule trial in 2024 or 2025. If just in 2024, look how much money she's going to make.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Chewy said hybristophilia is the word that was Gregory was looking for.
Is what now?
Hybristophilia. When you said a minute ago about there was a word for it.
No, there was another word. That's not it, but that may be something similar to.
Yeah, hybristophilia is where that is what they claim that these women, and I'm sure men too, that fall in love with these people like Bryan, people who are in prison or in jail for stuff that like what he has done.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought she was referring to the term about using a knife and no.
Oh, okay. So
okay.
there's a word for
That's
that one.
new one on me. I'm glad to know that though.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what the medical term is for what you were talking about, but I'm sure there's a term for it. Like what a baby said, delusional people.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's see. He has to waive his rights to a speedy trial. At this point, he has a full team that can review all of that information. I know that there is him, or not him, I'm sorry, and the Elisa woman, and then Jay Logston, and then the investigator. Wow. So I know of 4 people. Wow. Now, I'm pretty sure there might be like some people behind the scenes that are possibly working with them as well to try to go through it.
So is the state paying for all of those legal people?
Yep.
Well, the Latah County is.
Wow.
Ann's getting $200 an hour. I want to say co-counsel was supposed to be $180 an hour, and then the investigator. I forgot what the investigator was, but I think it was it might have been 100 or a little bit less than 100 an hour. And what they're going to do is they're only paying, so like for the first 40 hours of the week, they're paying it to Kootenai County, and then Kootenai County will give it to Ann, and she'll do whatever she needs to do with it. And then anything over 40 hours goes straight into Ann's pocket.
Wow.
Yeah, for 40 hours a week, she gets her regular salary.
Right.
So I'm wondering if the other lawyer that's not a public defender, the one that thinks she's the best on the state, if she gets the $180 an hour, she's going to end up making more money than Little Liar.
Yeah, because see, I wonder if that would probably, since she's not a public defender, that would just go straight into her pocket.
Yes.
And then whatever, unless there's an agreement that she has to pay them herself. I'll have to go back and see if I can find the agreement.
Yeah, because Little Liar only gets the $200 an hour for herself after 40 hours.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of money made.
Sure is.
Just in Latah County, I was reading an article today that they were already, I'm not going to say they were in debt, I didn't read the whole article, but they said that just this trial and the murder and all that happened has cost the county and the town of Moscow a good bit of money.
Bryan may be eating beans and rice before it's over with.
Yeah. I mean, they're giving him his vegan diet. They're paying his attorney fees. Hey Don, how are you? There's no telling how much if you put in the police hours that worked on this, FBI, all these different agencies, along with what they're paying Kootenai County and all this legal team for him. There's no telling how much money this is going to cost before it's all over with. It's going to be a crazy amount.
Well, that state's going to be paying a lot of money for these high profile trials that are going on for the next few years.
Yeah, because Lori, she had public defenders. Now Chad, he is paying his attorney.
With what?
I don't know if he had money off of book sales, because he was an author and he owned his own publishing business, so he might have had some money saved up from book sales. But then also the house that he owned is now in his attorney's name. Even though the attorney is allowing his kids to continue to live there, they're probably paying rent. But that house is now in his name too.
You talk about the house where Tylee and JJ were buried?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. His attorney now owns it.
Oh my gosh.
Ava, you think? I think it'll be way more than 500,000. Hey,
Yes.
Mandy, how are you? Yeah, for sure. When it's all said and done, and it goes to trial, and the jury comes back with a verdict, it'll well over $1 million, I think.
Oh yeah.
Well over.
If not a couple.
Probably. Hey, Miss Behaven, how are you?
Well, to me, he was pretty much convicted during Lori's trial.
Right?
Yeah.
But his lawyer did get a preview into the case probably that's going to be presented against him.
Are you talking about Chad's lawyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, his lawyer was in there I believe every day of the trial of Lori's. So it's crazy how Idaho has all these high profile things going on up there. It's crazy. And then we also got, little Michael Vaughn. He's from Idaho. That he's been missing. Like that one, the Vallow Daybell stuff. You got Bryan Kohberger. It's like, I don't know what's going on in Idaho.
Yeah. No kidding.
Bunch of craziness. Okay, so Jay said Idaho paid $3.6 million for Lori. Good Lord. And hers was 2020, so 2.5 years, 3 years.
Wow.
So, and there's no telling how much just in Bryan's that they've already paid.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Latah County may have to decrease some salary somewhere.
Yeah, Moscow needs to do something with their police department.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Let's see. Well, we know the firing squad won't cost as much as the needle. Loaded hot, that is true. It won't. See, it's crazy that Idaho could pay that much money, and they did not even put on a defense. I understand legally they are not held accountable to do that, but I mean, what a waste of money. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I get that Ann Taylor's a public defender. He is entitled to a public defender if he cannot afford an attorney. But why is Latah County paying for it?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
I thought that should have been like a state of Idaho thing. Hey, Jason, North Carolina, how are you?
I mean, like we've been saying, they could subsidize all this money by just doing pay-per-views for these trials.
And they would make their money back super quick.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Yeah.
think everybody who is wanting to watch the arraignment that's going to last an hour or less. Think of how many people want to watch that.
Yeah.
And would pay to watch it.
Yeah, that's really a good point, Vapor. I hadn't thought about that. As far as a pay-per-view thing.
Yeah, I mean, seems like they'd make a crap ton of money.
Oh, for sure. They would probably come out ahead. Maybe not a whole lot, but I think they would probably come out a little bit ahead on it.
Probably would.
I don't know if it's legal, but I mean, seeing how the public has a right to walk into any courtroom and watch a trial.
Yeah, but they're not allowing it. They're only going to allow whoever can make it into the court on a first come first served basis. And then once it gets full, then they have the overflow spot, and then once that's full, then nobody else will be allowed in.
Yeah, I think during the Vallow trial, I believe that that Nate guy from East Idaho News said that people showed up as early as like 6 o'clock in the morning to try and get a seat.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, that one's been going on since 2019. Look how many people followed that just all over the world. It wasn't just something that was just in the U.S. Think of the people outside of the U.S. that would have paid to watch it, just like they would this one.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of people in the UK that are interested in U.S. crime.
Yeah. Let's see. Happy arraignment eve to Crime Solver. How are you? Yeah, everybody's geared up and ready for tomorrow for sure. Loaded Hot, if he was able to do that, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
Well, then he'd be in jail too.
I wouldn't put it past him to try though. Seriously.
I'm still waiting to hear his voice at some time tomorrow.
Well, the thing is though, because Bryan isn't there jail in the basement? Ain't that what they said? Of the courthouse?
Yeah.
So Bryan won't even be brought outside.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
I'm curious.
If he would have been transported from another facility there, we would have heard the voice. Like, why'd you do it, or something? We might not have seen him, but we would have heard it.
Unless JLR somehow able to pose as a janitor.
With his crooked hat
that says media. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee he's going to be there. Troll asked me that today if I thought he was going to be there. Guarantee he's going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We should do a poll to see how many people think he's going to be in orange jumpsuit or if he's going to get to wear regular clothes. Because I think for something like this that they would let him, that his lawyer would put him in a suit or something.
Right, some type of
Yeah.
regular. See, just my opinion, have a feeling could be January 2024 before the trial begins. Jason, you think it would be that quick? Let's see, what is this? Is May? So 8 months from now?
Well, if they're going to do it that fast, then they might as well just start it on his birthday.
Yeah, what is November? What is his birthday?
24th, I think. 24th or
21st, something.
18th. I don't know.
Okay, no, because the 18th is when he went and done
Oh yeah,
the
license plate.
license plates. Yeah, because it had to be done before his birthday. So I'm thinking it's the 20 something. Globex said 21st.
I was gonna say maybe it was the 21st. Yeah, but it's shitty that we even know that.
Yeah, well, the only reason why I can remember it is because the murders happened 5 days later. He had the license plates changed on his car, and then I always said that that had to be done before his birthday because that's when they ran out. And then like he goes to the doctor, he goes to the DMV, he celebrates his birthday, he celebrates uh, Thanksgiving, goes back to work, just like life is normal. After he does this. Don, how are you?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Hi,
I'm
Greg.
doing good. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Dawn.
Hi,
How you
Greg.
doing, Don?
Good. How are you, Vapor? I love seeing you guys all in the chat.
Yeah, it's. I mean, everybody's. It's like Lost started off the whole live tonight like a family meeting and scolding everybody for being little a-holes. Make sure
Oh,
that you don't
no.
slip up anymore. I'm tired of it.
Oh, I try not to be an a-hole as much as possible.
Oh, see,
Um, but
I'm the opposite.
these cases are hard. Sometimes I think we get a bit passionate, even though we have to use our inside voices for that,
You just,
maybe.
yeah, you sometimes you gotta. Some people get really, like you said, passionate about what
Yeah.
what they believe is going on, and I mean, just you just kind of, I don't know, kind of have to separate yourself from, you know,
It can it
instead of theories and what you think, you just have to go back to what's the truth and what's known right now. We really don't know much.
Yeah.
no,
The
we don't.
evidence has been, we know a sliver of evidence for this case. And I'm not going to lie, I was looking forward to the preliminary trial just because I'm nosy and I want to know more. But
I
if
think
it
everybody
protects,
was.
yeah, but if it protects it and we get a true conviction, then I'm okay with it.
Well, I don't know that the gag orders. I think the gag order's doing more harm than good. Honestly, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
if you're talking about wanting to protect the information getting to potential jurors, I mean, the information now is nothing that's being corroborated by anything other than people's opinions, and they're hiding behind, oh, well, the source says this. Well, I mean, for all we know,
Speculation.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all it will, none of
It's
it would be admissible
speculation.
in court.
Exactly. And I get why they don't want to mess with the jury pool, but there's been so many high profile cases. I mean, look at Daybell, Fallow. They didn't have the whole preliminary trial was broadcasted, video, audio, the whole thing. So,
Right.
you have to kind of look at it that way. So people knew how bad it was. I mean, she's still charged here in Arizona, where I will remind everyone we have the death penalty. So people
Yep.
who were for it, there's still a chance over here.
If she when she goes to Arizona, she's not coming back to Idaho.
I don't think so. I'm not, because we're a very like conservative state, even though not that that matters, but
Well, I think
the
Idaho
people
is
who live
also.
here, a lot of yeah, a lot of people who live here feel like if you do something so horrible, and it was on the news everywhere, even before they ever charged her. I mean, you heard about it because part of it did happen here with Charles. So, and then you had Alex, and that's all shady. Like, does anyone know what really happened to him? He had the same foaming that Tammy did. So there's a lot, but yeah, no, in Arizona, we have the DP for a reason, and it's not given out real easy. So it's not like just because we don't like you and you're a horrible person that the jurors vote for it. But,
Well, I'm hoping with Bryan's trial, there's a camera in there and we can watch it.
same, Scarlett.
Yeah, me
Because,
too.
I mean, like, for whatever, I don't get why they didn't live stream Lori's, but I'm grateful that we got the audio. And so if they do decide, if this new judge decides not to let a camera in there during Bryan's trial, hopefully he will at least let us have the audio.
So
The only plus is, I'm sorry, real quick. The only plus is we have the news media that have their own lawyers. They can pay a lot of money. They're going to fight to be able to have it televised. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but also we have to remember constitutionally it's supposed to be transparent in our judicial system. So I just keep hoping that judges will err on the side of constitution, and then we're good.
yeah. So in Arizona, is she only being charged with conspiracy to commit murder, or is she also being charged with murder?
I have to look it up. I think conspiracy, but I don't know if it has to fall under the level of premeditated to qualify for the
There
death
has,
the death
yeah.
penalty, or I will
Well,
look because
conspiracy alone, I think we looked this up like a month or two ago when we were
okay.
going over Lori's stuff. If it's just conspiracy, then no way in chat is right. The conspiracy charge doesn't hold the death penalty. I mean, doesn't qualify for death penalty for just conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
was surprised in Idaho that conspiracy was enough to where death penalty was on the table. Because all I know is in Arizona, usually you have to prove premeditation for it to happen. Like Jodi Arias is a prime example, a case most people know about, and they had to prove premeditation. It took them a lot to get her to finally be sentenced, and it has to be unanimous. But just like in Colorado with Letitia's case, in Arizona, the jurors get to ask questions. And I found that the most fascinating thing because I didn't know that until the Jodi Arias trial that jurors could do that. And I'm like, do you know how many questions I would have had in Letitia's case? So many.
yeah.
Okay. All right. I pulled this up for Crime Solver. They were wanting to know where the media is going to be able to, where they're going to be, where they can stage at. And it's only right here on this, I believe this is the side of the courthouse, on the sidewalk, and then this little bitty area back here in the back. It's the
Oh
only
wow.
is the only place. And then all the satellite trucks have to park way down the street.
Goodness.
Is that just for the hearing on Monday?
For the arraignment tomorrow.
Okay.
Which I'm pretty sure whenever the trial starts, if it's here in if it's in Latah County, it'll probably be the same way. Um, but it's, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe because of the trial, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be bigger, so they may have to do like a larger staging area for the media. So I emailed you a few questions for the panel guests and part of Idaho 4 case. Crime Solver, you're welcome. Okay, let me see what Emerald Queen's questions are for the panel guests. Let me get to my email real quick. Okay, Mark. Okay, so she says, What do you and the other panelists think? Are they okay, so wait, let me start at the beginning. She said, I have a massive question mark lingering on the other stabbing cases that mirror the Idaho case. So, Emerald Queen, are you talking about the one in Oregon and the one in Washington?
I think that's what she means.
Okay. So it says, what do you and the other panelists think? Are they connected or not? Is Bryan guilty of all three? Is he guilty of one or more, but not the others? And if so, which ones? Let's see. Did he do uh, BS? What is VS? Emerald Queen.
Versus maybe.
And then she put, or none of them. I personally can't figure out what to make of them.
I think the only thing he's involved in is the Idaho one. I don't think he's involved in either one of the other two.
Okay. All right, Gregory.
I think he's very possibly involved in the one where the
lady
husband
survived.
and wife were stabbed, and she survived.
That's the Oregon one.
Yeah, simply because of where they lived and the access was kind of the same.
Oh shit!
There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, there are. But
is that the one with the dog? Where the dog, or is that separate?
You talking about Buddy the dog?
I think unless that was just the dog and not anybody else involved, I can't. There's been so many.
Oh no, the one in Oregon. The one in Oregon, they did have a dog in the house.
Yeah,
now,
but
Buddy is a different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buddy's
and actually, Scarlett, wasn't there another? Wasn't there like another female in that house when that happened?
Yes.
Yeah, she was actually supposed to, because the couple was leaving the next day to go to Hawaii. The other person that was in the house was going to be like their house sitter and take care of the animals and stuff like that for them.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that case is the Buddy case. That couple there actually lived. I don't know if they would consider it in Moscow. I think it might have been like a little bit out of town, but still not too far from the kid's house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Emerald said BS is versus. That's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
Because when you said it, I'm like, I think it's versus, but you
Okay.
never know. Yeah, I feel like I want to say he's involved in many different ones, but until I'm someone who likes to see the evidence or something that ties him to it, because there's also been talk that there were some up in where he was from, Pennsylvania, that they were looking into. I guess my thing is I'm just glad that they are looking into other cases that have the similar profile around where he's from. So I guess that would be my answer.
I mean, if I had to choose, I mean, I don't know where he was. So I know that they were saying that he had, during the pandemic and stuff, he had to take online classes. So he didn't necessarily have to be there to take classes. But the Oregon one, that one, I mean, it's got a lot of similarities, being on the 13th, being, somebody else was left in the house untouched. But it just seems like the lady that survived would have some kind of a decent idea of the build of the person that did it,
Yeah, because there had to be some sort of light in that room for the person who did that to them to be able to see around their bedroom. So either way, I still feel bad for her, because just like when the Idaho murders happened, she had to think, well, could this been the person who done this to us?
Yeah. And then to have some sort of semblance of peace, if it really is him, like, okay, thank God they caught the person.
Right.
So.
But it just, anytime any kind of case that has any similarities to what happened to them, that woman's got to be scared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just for the
I would be.
Yeah, because just for the simple fact that I'm pretty sure whoever did this knows that there's a survivor,
Mm-hmm.
and that's got to be scary for her.
For
Yeah,
sure.
just like the girls who, as questionable as I think some things went with Bethany and Dylan, I still can't imagine how scared they'd have to be, like thinking, okay, great, they caught them, but what if it's not? And being young, you're barely an adult at their age. So I've felt bad for them. Again, I've questioned some things like, I'm
Right.
sorry, if I saw a masked person outside my window, I'd be calling 911. But I was also brought up in a family of law enforcement where, you just know to have to be extra careful for things.
Yeah. I really, the only question though that I have, or well, probably not the only question, the biggest question I have regarding Dylan and or Bethany is the 8 hour gap.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
That's
mean.
that bothers me just as bad as that footprint in front of her door.
Oh, you
yeah,
and the footprint girl. That's hilarious. I mean, I appreciate how like that you're trying to make sense of it, but I was in here that night and I'm like, can we make sense of it though? Because it's so hard when we know so little about the evidence.
It just, I mean, I get why they put it in the PCA because they wanted that footprint to corroborate her story of seeing this person walk in front of her door. So that
Yeah.
way they can't say, well, she's lying and didn't see this person. So I get that. But it seems like if they would have put it in there, well, she sees this person, they say that she sees him walking towards the back sliding door, and that's when the cops believe that he left the house. But
yeah.
why not put that they saw more than that one footprint and there's a trail of footprints leading to the back door?
Makes
Well,
sense that there would be 2 feet walking.
Right.
So
And
I
that, I
get
mean,
you.
there's no way, unless this dude hopped on the other foot that didn't have blood on it, there has to be bloody footprints before and after that one footprint.
yeah.
Yeah.
There has to
Well,
be.
Tonka, I mean, these are two, I mean, regardless of them being in college or not, they're still two little girls.
Yeah.
They're barely not children. And somebody has said before that Dylan already had PTSD from some trauma earlier in her life. I mean, I don't know.
I
And I
remember him.
agree 100%. Nobody there, I don't know anybody that's been able to get past the 8 hours. Nobody can get past that.
I
But,
No.
I can't.
Because it's your fight or flight. Your fight or flight kicks in. And like I said, if what she saw inside of your home was a masked person with bushy eyebrows, the first thing most anybody would do is call 911. And that's why I used the example. If I saw someone and I looked out my window and saw them outside of my house, my butt would have been calling 911 as soon as possible. And before we had the arrest affidavit where we knew any of this, all I could think of is, when I would say on other channels, like, can you just imagine the massacre and the things that they saw that we can't even imagine? And again, that was before I knew of the 8 hours. But to think of these legitimate children, barely 18, and they're seeing what happened in that house, I felt so bad for them. And I
yeah,
still do, but the 8 hours is hard to get past. It just is.
Yeah, it is. Scarlett, to your point about the footprint, I even
Mhm.
wondered too, they didn't even catch that footprint until what, the
The
second
second
time or
time.
so?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as many people that came in and out of that house, I wondered if the footprint might not even have been related to him, but because they found it, they attempted to connect it to him.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder if it was possibly the one who came and Ethan's friend that found him is what
Yeah,
they're claiming. I
well,
wondered if maybe he might have stepped in blood
yeah,
and he
But
would
then
have
you
had
still
to,
have 1 foot.
right,
I mean, like you said, unless somebody's hopping through a house, it does
but
not logically make sense.
where was he going then? If it was Hunter or Ethan's friend or whatever, if he did step in blood, I mean, 8 hours later, there the blood would have I mean, there was puddles. It was everywhere, and most of it was
Yeah.
probably dry and definitely coagulated. But where was he going? If
Back to Dylan's room, maybe to tell her that they need to call 911.
I
Does
don't know.
anyone else
I
wonder who found them? Like, we know that, per her own words, Dylan saw him or somebody. And then, but like, did she goes back in her room, locks her door. Again, if you're that concerned that you lock your door, you normally, most people would pick up their phone and call 911, or
Well, if
even your
she,
roommate. But isn't
yeah,
it weird?
apparently
Like,
she did text or call the roommates.
oh, that's not good.
But the thing
Because then
is,
people are going to question, defense is going to eat her up. Like, oh,
oh
you can
yeah,
text your roommates.
yeah. Um, I still 100, okay, 99%. I believe the people that were called to that house for whatever reason have pictures and video of that scene before hours before law enforcement got there.
I could agree with that. But I guess my question where I was starting to go, sorry, my brain wanders. But who do we think found them? Do we think that Dylan saw what she saw, went in her room, and then just waited for Bethany to wake up? I mean, I couldn't even imagine that.
hold on, y'all. I'm looking something up real quick before I forget. Papa Rogers just reminded me of it.
Oh, Papa Rogers. We love the good one, not the one we think might be.
Yeah, it was brought up the other night about the soles of like military boots, and
Mhm.
I said that I was gonna look it up, and then I never did. And he just asked me if I had looked it up to see if maybe they had a diamond shaped pattern on the
I
bottom.
don't know that I mean, they could. I don't think my brothers, because they all have those from being in the military and just wear them, but I don't know that it's the whole soul. And they made it sound like the whole soul was that
Yeah,
diamond.
because didn't they say like a Vans type shoe?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
Okay,
yeah.
But was it
I'll,
definitively shown to be blood?
It was just a latent
a
footprint
latent
that,
footprint. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I remember.
It me. Oh, can everybody hear me or no?
yeah.
Yeah,
Fred, how are you?
Yeah, latent footprint means that they used some kind of chemical reaction to get to see it. I believe
yeah,
Okay.
the amino black or the other one.
Okay.
the
All right.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why you know in the PCA them just mentioning only those two things is what made me like wonder about the rest of them. Yeah, and since they're not mentioning since they're not mentioning anything else in the PCA about bloody footprints going around the house at the very least, and probably out of it too if you're zooming around in 14 minutes time, maybe 16 minutes time.
Mhm.
Um, like in 16 minutes, you definitely don't have time to be cleaning up after yourself or preparing for that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you got two people each in two different rooms. If they were all in one room, there would still be prints in that room, I would imagine. And I would think that there would probably be maybe even some handprints. Like there should be
Oh, yeah.
some
Yeah.
handprints.
Well, I mean, with the fight that supposedly went on the second floor, I mean, there's got to be footprints. There's got to be slippage. There has to be, there's no way somebody fighting back didn't get knocked. I mean, there's no way he didn't at least get knocked off balance with two people trying to get at him. I
Yeah.
mean,
And everyone focuses on this whole like there was only DNA on the knife sheath. But my thing is when you're doing that, and because like you said, 14, 16 minutes, Frank, if you add that to four people and multiple floors of the house, he couldn't have been like, I'm going to make sure I don't cut myself, and I don't know any kind of gloves that you're going to not like. So I think that there has to be mixed DNA, whether it be any of the victims and his, because to think that he didn't cut himself with that kind of frenzied massacre of poor people, it just doesn't make sense to me. I just think they didn't have to put it in the PCs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody has been claiming all along that we're only seeing 5 or 10% of everything, which I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that doesn't completely rationalize for me when you're trying to get enough together for a probable cause warrant, which is a warrant to investigate further. You know, like you probably, I don't know, I feel like you probably would want to put maybe the most substantial stuff in there, you know, or at least some of it. I don't know.
Like I said the other night, I think the only reason that footprint was put in there was to corroborate what Dylan was saying about her seeing him walk right in front of him, because it's right in front of her door.
Right. And I asked on 3 separate chats the first time, assuming that they just didn't have any bloody footprints all over the place, because why wouldn't they say that something was similar, and you know, but so maybe I'm completely wrong on that, which I'm okay with, but you know, that was why, you know, I started thinking maybe it could be some like Dexter type level stuff at that point, because if there isn't, then that's pretty much what it would have to be. Like,
well, let's think about all those people allegedly that were called over there that came in. I don't know how many of them went in the house. I don't know, but if you look around that house, there's not grass, there's not concrete, there's dirt and rocks. So all of those footprints coming into the house should have been left some kind of a dusty print somewhere.
Well, and wasn't there snow as well?
No, there was no snow at that time.
No, not
Oh, I
the
thought there
day of the
was.
murders. It snowed
Okay.
like what a day or so after the murders, I believe.
Okay.
Because I know whenever they moved the kids' cars out of the driveway, there was a good bit of snow on the ground at that point.
Okay.
Okay, so No Way wants to know what's Dexter type.
oh, if you've never seen the show Dexter, and I'm not suggesting that you should.
I've never.
No, it's a great show.
I've seen previews of it, but I've never watched it.
So Dexter, well, you want to tell him, Brad, or?
Oh, you know, the premise is that he's a serial killer that takes out other serial killers on a morality chase for his, I don't know, it's crazy, put it that way. But you know, he presets up a kill room type of situation, you know, where you got stuff laid out like a painting crew would if they came to your house and covered your furniture and, you know, covered the floors and all that. And I'm not even trying to suggest that, obviously, but I'm saying that, like, with a lack of
Are you trying not to get scolded?
I am trying not to get scolded, and I'm trying not to be irrational either. You know what I mean? Right. But I just thought it was pretty crazy to me that they wouldn't mention that there was any similar prints to a latent one that's so important to mention, I guess.
Brad, did you see what Jeff H said in the chat?
Oh no, what's up?
He said, "Brad, is it just me or do you sound like Chad Daybell?"
I have no idea what he sounds like, actually.
No, I don't think he does.
No,
I don't think you do.
He does either. But wouldn't you think that, as like we all have seen how small that little room was that Maddie and Kaylee were in, which that was Maddie's bedroom. I mean, there was hardly enough room to turn around in there. So I just can't help but believe that both Maddie and Kaylee scratched the crap out of him, you know, in a fight, you know, because I mean, that's just how they were. You know, they were just like go-getters, and I think they, probably fought till their last, second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
still
think
think that they were ambushed.
I hope they do
All of
have
them are just
blood and skin evidence. That's what I hope. I hope they do for whomever or whatever.
Let
well,
me
that's why I'm saying with
see.
this way these as vicious as this was, even if they were surprised or asleep or whatever, there has to be some DNA somewhere that links him more than just the she.
Yeah, there has to be, unless this guy wrapped himself in plastic, put a wetsuit on or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know
Maybe,
how they
maybe that
have to
is
have.
indeed the other 95%. I guess.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
Maybe.
And I have. Let me get to our Facebook group because I was gonna pull it where he was talking about the size of Maddie's room. I just got to get to the virtual tour.
I don't know if
So that
Sandy.
was so helpful, that virtual tour, but I just keep praying to the good Lord above that they do not let that house be knocked down because being able to, it took us, I can just say at least me for sure, I know other people too, but until that model home thing that you could walk through came
Yeah,
out, trying to picture where he could have gone in, where each room was. I like Gregory said, I didn't realize how small the rooms were until we saw that.
Okay, let me get up to Maddie's room. Dang it, why is it not working? Okay, here we go.
But yeah,
Okay.
oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
Sorry.
Xana's room looked.
the other two chats that I asked the same question without proposing that maybe there wasn't bloody footprints everywhere, both came up with the same answer that the Leighton one was probably important because it was outside the door, just as it happened here.
Right.
So I'm going with
Yeah.
that too for now.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this is Maddie's room. So literally, I don't know if I can get a better view of how small it is,
They
but
are.
that is literally all the room that is that she had in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Like it is super small. I think she had probably the smallest room in the house.
yeah. I think she did actually.
And
But
to
I
hear
mean,
that from
look how
what we heard
small. I
they
mean,
fought.
you can't even hardly get between that
That
desk
desk
and the
and
corner
yeah.
of the bed.
well,
Hmm.
we don't know if the desk was there, but
Let's see. Yeah, I mean if it was there and it was in that position, yeah, she could it wasn't a whole lot of room.
Mm-mm. And to hear how much we were told that they fought and had so many defensive wounds. I think it was Kaylee is who I remember, but I could be wrong.
Let me go down the stairs.
Well, if they were sleeping like that, then their head at the where the pillows are, and the knife sheath was found on the right side of Maddie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Hold on.
if
I'll go back to.
so, in that case, Maddie, I guess, was on her back, sleeping on her back.
Okay.
Um,
Here we go. Okay, let me get back to. Yeah, and they have, but looks like a full size bed in here,
mhm.
but we don't know if it was a full size that she had or not.
So
Now,
then, if Maddie was against the wall, then he would have been reaching over Kaylee to get to her.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but if he attacked Maddie first, then
Because I mean, even if he would have, even if this is a full size,
mm-hmm,
like there's no room over here next to the wall to get
no,
between the wall and the bed.
not really,
So
no.
it would have to either be from this side of the bed over here. And let me see if I can get to this side, like from this
Yeah,
side
that's what I'm thinking.
and reaching over, or coming from like the foot of the bed up onto the bed.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
It seems like that would be the only two ways.
And I don't see a different way that a bed could fit in there. Because even if you took out the desk, like even a twin, it'd be hard to see how else it could fit. So it would have to be somebody was against the wall. There was no room on that side of the wall. So it
Right.
either had to be from the foot of the bed or to the side of the bed
Yeah.
where he
That.
was. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was trying to get down to. Let me go back here. I was trying to get down to Xana's room. And it keeps dropping me into because see Dylan's room is way bigger, but Dylan's room is the size of Maddie's room and the bathroom upstairs, and
Okay.
probably goes out a little bit further than the bathroom upstairs. Let me see. Let me get to.
Yeah, you just have to go down the hall. There you go.
Okay. Oh shoot. Okay. So this would have been, which her room ain't that big either.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
And
that
I know,
looks like a double or a queen as well.
yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, there are pictures inside of Xana's room that she had on social media that her bed was up against this wall right here and went
Okay.
out in front of the window. It still don't look like it
That
would have
would,
had enough room to get into the closet though.
but that would make sense because isn't that window the area where the blood seemed to be outside if it was ever confirmed or not?
No, that was this wall back here.
Oh,
This would be the back wall right there.
Yeah.
See, this
Which
is a
I
wall.
think that's where Ethan ended up, was between the wall and the floor. I mean the wall and the bed.
and then
Yeah.
wasn't Santa found like either in the entry or kind of in the hall?
Well, they said, and I'll go back out just so it makes sense as I'm saying it. Let me stand right here, and then way I can look down the hallway. So they're saying in the PCA, as he's walking towards Xana's bedroom, he notices Xana on the floor. So
Okay.
if her door is open, she would have to be, if the bed is where they're claiming that it's at in this, she would have to be in this area. And then once they got into the room, then they noticed that Ethan was in there. So he could have been behind the door on the floor. He could have been in the bed. He could have been over by the closet, the window, up against the back wall,
Yeah.
anywhere like that.
I
Yeah,
mean, this is
because
what I'm
Scarlett,
saying.
didn't the PCA say also in the room was a male?
Yes. Hold on. Let me put, because I'd rather say it how it has it in the PCA, but it was something to that effect. Let me find the affidavit real quick.
That whole tour thing really helped at least me visualize it because it was hard, and that's why I think that I really do hope they keep the house up for the jury because that house is so confusing, and until we have that kind of layout to walk through, it's hard to picture it all.
Right. Even with pictures, just imagine
Yeah.
how confusing the jury's going to be because they would literally have, I'm sure they're going to have a floor plan for each floor, but it's still going and looking at it and walking through it and seeing everything and listening to the sounds of the inside of the house, even though I know that there's not going to be furniture or anything like that in there, which makes a huge difference in a house.
Mm-hmm.
But they still can walk through it and see where everybody was at and where everybody's rooms was at and how far they were from each other and just
The points of
basically
entry,
get
like
a
where he
There's
could have gotten in.
with which officer said he could see the body in the doorway as he approached. Do you remember?
this
That
is
page?
it's Brett Payne because this is his affidavit or PCA.
So
And it
so if he came up the stairs and started walking towards Xana's room and he could see her or a body,
mhm.
there's no way if Dylan came out of her room with once there was daylight, there's no way that, are you telling me she got out of her room and ran downstairs? There's no way she didn't look down that hallway. There's no way she didn't see somebody.
How about the
Especially when she
noise?
heard what she did all night.
I mean, if she
I
was so
agree.
scared that she wanted to run out of the house, why even bother trying to go downstairs where you don't know what happened down there? I would have ran right out the sliding glass door like he did if I was in a hurry to get out of the house.
Right.
Yep.
Because it says right here, as I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan.
Yeah.
So apparently, them walking down that hallway towards Xana's room, she had to have been right there on the floor.
Yeah. Inside the
Somewhere.
room.
Yeah, inside the room, but still visual from the hallway where they could see her.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with Vapor. It's like if she at any time departed her room and was going downstairs, there's no way her eye wouldn't have caught some,
Especially if what she says that she heard coming from that way,
right.
It
crying from
also
Santa's room and all that.
Yeah,
it also
that's what I
makes
was
no
saying.
it also makes no sense to me that apparently Hunter or whoever came up to find the bodies checked Ethan for a pulse, but he would have had to have stepped over Xana to get to Ethan.
Right, but I
Yeah.
wonder if he checked both pulses or if he just realized that Xana was already gone and then seen
He would have
Ethan and
had
checked
to have
him.
walked right through that mess.
Right. So that's why I was asking, maybe could the bloody footprint have come from him?
No, I mean,
But we should still have two.
yeah, if the bloody footprint came from him, there would have been tracks from her room to there.
Yeah.
Which
And
would
you
have
would
made
have think they would
sense.
have seen them outside, and I never heard of any being seen outside.
Ray, have a good night. And that's what I was saying. It would have made sense if they were thinking that it was Brian's, that they would have said the bloody footprint went towards the back door where Dylan says that she's seen this masked man walking towards. It would have
Right.
made perfect. I
Yeah.
mean, it would have made the PCA make more sense.
It would have. Yep.
And I've said from the beginning of this, like, why did they not bring any of the dogs out just to see where he was? Because, or whoever, at that time we didn't know who it was, but to follow trails of this person in the house. Where were they parked? It just tells the story a lot better, but also the dogs may have seen something that police didn't because they have noses that we do not.
Who was up last night that was talking on panel? The lady, I don't remember her name. And she was talking about pay attention to the gun.
To the gun?
Yeah.
There was a gun?
No, well, when they searched his parents' house, they confiscated a gun.
Oh, okay. I
A
thought you meant
Glock.
at this house. And I'm like, what? Oh, Glocks are, yeah.
Shit, who was on panel last night?
Remember,
Reba.
she was talking
Okay,
about pay
it would
attention
have
to
been
the
Reba.
gun.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Reba.
But
Yeah,
once
I know.
again, there's another case here where if the coroner missed something, because remember how she was talking about, how small the 22 caliber, the wounds, that it produces are so small and can be missed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once again, we have a case where everybody's been cremated.
Right. Except
But
for
there would have,
Ethan. I think Ethan was buried. I don't think he was cremated.
Okay.
I
and
don't
you
think.
think unless in all the darkness he picked, if there was a gun involved, you would think there would be shell casings or shells inside of them somewhere. They have to go somewhere. And he didn't
Well,
have enough time to figure out where they went and clean up. Like he did what he did and he got the hell out of there.
there's no really any casings if it's a revolver. And I don't
In a
remember
Glock, they
if,
don't have that.
oh,
I'm not a
a,
gun person, so
a
I'm just,
Glock,
I just,
a Glock would have ejected a shell casing,
Yeah,
okay.
just
but
a
a
revolver
revolver,
would.
yeah. And I don't know if they even said in and the stuff they took from the dad's house. I don't know if they went into any kind of detail of what type of gun it was or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it
did.
was a Glock.
It was a Glock 22, I believe.
Okay, well then, good luck
Yeah.
finding that shell in the middle of the darkness and blood and people trying to beat
Yeah.
your ass.
And the magazines
That's what
were
I was.
empty, I believe.
That was my first
what?
thought, because then there would have to be that no shell was in them. It went through, but then where did you also find? Don't they separate? Like you have the shell part that pops out and the bullet part that goes in. Again, not a gun person.
Give me
Or is
The
it
what?
just the casing part and the
The
bullet?
casing. Yeah, the
Okay.
bullet.
It wasn't a
Okay.
22. It was a 40 cal. Hold
Oh,
on, I'll
well,
get
there's
some.
no way in hell that wouldn't have heard throughout. That would have echoed throughout that whole neighborhood.
Yeah, see right
Okay.
here, number 4 Glock 22 Gen 5 40 caliber, and it has a serial number. And I did read somewhere where the Gen 5 is what they issue to law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the Glock is?
It's how would
I
you
don't know what
explain a
those
Glock? It's a 40 caliber gun, so it wouldn't be a 22.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Huge
Because I
difference.
know my
Yeah,
I
it-
know my
it's a
dad and my
larger.
brother had multiple guns, but the ones that are provided to them as law enforcement, I don't know what they are. For some reason, I thought they were Glocks, but again, Arizona could be different than Pennsylvania, Idaho.
It's all a matter of what arrangement they have to get the best
Yeah.
price.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that thing would have stayed in my locker. I would have had a SIG.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
right here, number 14, it says 3 Glock 40 caliber magazines were all empty. But wasn't there somewhere else that was something was said about a magazine for that gun?
I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember. So at least we know that was a Glock then, because it was the magazine.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
not.
think that being collected in the warrant is maybe could be like capturing all electronics, just like any weapons at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does this number 28 say? Does that say ammunition?
That writing is so horrible.
But it has something to. Oh no. Wait. See, I can't tell what the first part is, and then it says of sale of the Glock 22.
28.
So maybe
Received. I think it's received.
Record something.
I want to say that says something
Sale.
application.
Oh,
Does that say
yeah.
Of
application?
sale. Yeah, it's for the sale. So yeah, you're right. Application.
Okay.
I don't know what the first 3 letters are, and then it record. So application / record
Record of
of
sale.
sale.
Okay.
So that makes sense, because if they find a gun, they're probably going to take it, but they're going to probably see who it's registered to, and if it's his dad, then but they still have to list it.
I think
Right.
that says application, and that's the acronym for something.
See,
Yeah,
application
the first 3
/
letters, it's like P something. It looks like P
P
something
something
P, but
P.
it's what it looks like, or it could be
Yeah.
DOP, DOB. I don't know.
And it looks
Wait,
like
if it's a
application /
firearm
record of sale.
application, I'm trying to look at, like, is it firearm maybe? I don't know. Application.
I'm curious how much Bryan knows about all the trouble his sisters and family have gone through since this happened.
Yeah.
He
I
probably
Well,
don't
they
care.
say they talk to him.
Well,
I'm sure
I
he
mean,
doesn't care, but don't they talk to him? I thought they called him and stuff.
I'm not sure. I'm sure they do. I'm
He's a
sure his
person.
parents do. I don't know if his sister does or either one of his
Yeah.
sisters. I mean, if it is true about her being curious about that stuff before he was even arrested and now her losing her job, she's probably super pissed.
I
Yeah.
would be if my brothers did that, or any of my brothers. I would have been like, "What the hell are you thinking?"
Well,
Okay.
they shouldn't have been penalized for something that he may have done. That's just wrong.
No.
Yeah, that's what I said last night. Like, she didn't do it. She more than likely didn't know that he was going to do it or that he had done it until he came home for Christmas. Now, the only thing that I could see that maybe they had gotten like fired her or whatever. It's if it was interfering with their business because of her being associated with him. Because when
But
he's
she could
arrested,
sue them.
right? But I don't think that they should have even fired her then, if that is true, because we still don't know if that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Unless there was
truthfully,
something that came out and said that she was connected to a cover up, that would be the only way I could see someone having the
Right.
right to let her go. But there's none
Right.
of that.
Okay, real quick, they said in chat that the POP would be proof of purchase application record of sales. So that makes sense.
okay.
They're awesome.
Okay.
Like it's
But
a
the
P
thing
something,
is,
I think.
Scarlett, if Pennsylvania is a fire at will state, then even if the sister wasn't really causing any kind of a problem, they could have just fired her because they just didn't want to deal with it.
Right. Yeah. But I
What might
mean,
be coming?
yeah, they
Yeah,
probably
lawsuit.
just. But
Yeah.
I mean, what? She had nothing to do with it, unless, like y'all were saying, they can prove that maybe she knew of it or something and she covered it up. But I mean, she
Yeah.
didn't know that he was going to do that, and we don't even know which sister, if even that part is true. Real got to thinking about it. It was like, okay, Brian's wearing latex gloves in the house. He lived close to the murder.
Separating his trash in baggies. Yeah.
Right. He
Yeah.
has the same type of car that they're looking for. Mom, Dad, I think y'all need to consider that Brian might have killed these kids. We don't know if that's even true of what was said. We
Right.
won't know
No,
that
and
until the trial comes.
I don't even
yeah,
know if
because we
that'll
know
come.
a sliver. But Arizona's a right to work state as well, like Gregory was saying, if that state is. But I know that if you were wrongfully, even though it's right to work, they still have to have a reason. That's why there's the whole write-up process. You're warned, you're put on probation. So yeah, to me, if I were her, and I'm not someone who likes to sue, I'm not a sue happy person, never have sued anybody, but I would I would say, girl, get a lawyer.
For sure, because I mean, she can't help what her brother went and done
No,
on the other side of the country.
Right.
no. I'd be no different than any of our siblings if they were some psychopath killer, unaliver, then yeah, you shouldn't be held accountable for what your family has done. But again, like you said, Scarlett, we don't know if that's the one that um, was it the movie and then the one who was in movies and one who was a psychiatrist or something?
Yeah, because it did say on that Dateline thing last night that one of his sisters was fired from the medical field. I think she was a therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, something
Yeah,
like that.
she
And then
had a channel. I've followed her for a couple of years before this even happened. I used to
She
follow her.
did?
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
the other one
Wow.
That's
played
the
in the
only reason
movies.
I know what she looks like. She's pretty cute. I'm telling you, she's a beautiful girl.
I mean, honestly, I don't think the sisters look anything like Brian.
No,
Thank
not at
goodness.
all.
Yeah, they
Mm-mm.
don't. They don't favor. I mean, there may
Yeah.
be some
The problem
similarities if you
is
look
that
at
they
them.
still carry some of that DNA.
True.
Yeah. And you know what's scary is just because you know that he did this, and they may still not believe it. Some people are in denial for a long time until
Well,
they hear all the evidence because they only know what we do. And if he's not going to sit on a recorded police, jail line, which if he did, he'd be even more dumb than I thought he was to
yeah.
admit to things. So
Yeah. I think
she
his
shouldn't have
parents
been
would be
fired.
in denial more than anybody.
Who?
Yeah, Greg, agree with you there. I just wanted to have been my brother. That's all I can say. Because I'm the kind of we were just raised if somebody does something wrong, you're held accountable for it. So I would be like, let the justice system do its thing. Let me see all the evidence and then I'll make a decision. But nobody should be fired because of that unless she wasn't doing her job or it was affecting her performance. Because that could be too. Your brother has just been arrested for allegedly unaliving 4 college students. That could make someone's brain not work right
She
as well.
probably didn't want to come to work. Probably
Yeah.
embarrassed her. Uh, I'm sure it probably impairs the whole family, even if
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
no.
it just. Can you imagine, just as a parent, the cops all of a sudden bust in your house and arrest your child for 4 murders?
like I said
You
in
know,
the
that's
chat the other, you imagine the look on the sister's face. If it is true that she brought it up about him
yeah,
possibly doing this, when all this went down, she's just sitting there staring at her parents, going, "What the hell did I say?"
Yeah.
right. Because
I
they're
mean, and
claiming.
Exactly.
I'm sure his parents, whether they're in denial or not, but I think his parents don't believe he did it. But if it is true about her bringing it up, I think at this point she 100% believes he did it. So can you imagine the problems that there might be going on in that house?
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah, but
yeah.
how could you not even want, like, as much as I wouldn't want to believe it, the logical person of me, even though I love my brother, would be like, okay, but why would somebody arrest you? Because there's a pretty high level for a judge to sign off on a warrant and all these things. So me myself would question it and then kind of wait for the trial till I knew, unless I knew my brother so well to know that he didn't have dead eyes, wasn't a creeper, all the things we've now learned about him, then I would be like, absolutely no way. You know, there's no way he's framed. But
The thing is
how
that
could you not?
her channel that I followed,
Is it
do you
YouTube?
know it was on YouTube? Do you know of like the
Oh,
Myers-Briggs personalities?
yes.
Okay, that's what she went over all the time. She would always do, because I know what I am. So I was wanting to hear what she had to say about my personality. And so I would follow her, and being that that's what she was really into, was the personalities and all the traits of those, I'm sure she's done her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
isn't that the test that you take and it tells you like all the different things or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, I think
Well,
I took that test.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
remember
you
what
just
my
have to
answers
look in
were,
his
but
eyes. And then
Huh?
if even if you didn't look in his eyes and saw the creepy, everything that he wrote, because I think it was proven that what that one thing where he was talking about the visual snow, like that whole forum, I think it was confirmed it really was his. And if you're someone who went into psychiatric work and have education, how could you not even just maybe slightly go, you know what, he could have done this. So I'm with Gregory. It'd be a hard home to live in if the parents are in denial. Because I mean, his dad drove after he did this home with him back, and I'm sure he's probably questioning, but like he seemed normal in the car. I mean, we don't know, but I don't know.
I'd be
Weird.
curious to know what the sisters' friends that were at the house when they were younger, what their vibe they got from them.
Good question. If I had been one of the sister's friends, I would have been like, something's wrong with your brother. He's creepy. He
Yeah.
Yeah,
has dead eyes. His eyes give me the cold chills. I
I
don't know
would.
how else to say it.
I wonder though if Brian, like his awkwardness, if it affected his sister's friendships.
Probably
how
because
much
my brother
older are
was
they?
Yeah.
I don't
I can
know how
see
much
that,
older.
Charlotte.
I
I
think.
know my brother was the dorky brother. Um, and my friends were like, why is he always showing us the airplanes he's drawing? I'm like, just ignore him. But it was very different. He's kind-hearted, not like cold, look in his eyes and makes you want to run the other way. So I
Right.
could see how they could be embarrassed because I would have been like, what's wrong with your brother?
Okay, so the sister that is Melissa, I believe is her name.
Mhm.
She's 31. Brian's 28. 3 years difference between the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah. What about the other one?
Does anybody in chat remember how old the other sister is? Because I
'Cause I
think
thought,
Brian's the youngest, isn't he?
That's
yeah,
what
I
I
thought
thought.
one of them was like
Yeah,
10 years older than him.
that's what I remember hearing too. But there's been so much on this case
But
because
okay,
I did
so
think one was a lot older.
when Brian went to court in Pennsylvania, I know his mom and dad was there, but did both sisters go or was it just the one?
I don't know.
For some reason,
can't
I'm thinking
remember.
one, but I'm not
I
for sure.
remember seeing one of them, but I don't remember seeing both of them.
Yeah,
We'd have to go watch it again unless someone in chat
I
knows.
can't
Yeah.
remember now.
And maybe the one that maybe it was just the one sister, and the one that didn't show up is the one who, if it's true, brought it up to the family.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
good point. I just remember the mom trying to cover her face and everything.
All right.
I don't blame her.
You know, it's got to be an embarrassment
Oh
that,
yeah,
you know, your son was going out and going to college. He would have had I mean, if he'd have finished his PhD program, think of a good job that he would have had. He would have had a good life with that if he
Yeah.
wouldn't have did all this, and he screwed it up not only for himself, but he screwed up and took 4 kids' life and screwed up all their families and his own family.
right.
It's terrifying and so detrimental because it has, like you said, affected people that we're thinking of just family, and then you think of all the close friends, and it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Okay, Amanda was born in 88, Melissa 91, Bryan in 94.
Okay, so she's only 6 years older than him.
Yeah.
I was
So
thinking
3
10
years
too, but that
apart.
makes sense. Which one is the psychiatrist or does the psychiatry?
I don't
Do you know
know.
if it's the older
Whichever,
one or
I
the
think that's
one of them
Melissa, I believe.
is what?
okay?
The
The
psychologist?
Yeah, psychologist, I believe. Let me go back up and check because I've seen where. Let me see. I think it was White Widow Baby that had posted. I just gotta find it. Okay, so Melissa Kohberger, a mental health therapist, 31 years old, New Jersey.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh,
I
New
still like
Jersey.
her other name. I
And then
won't
so
say it because I don't want your channel to get the cussing strike, but I love her name.
and then Amanda is the one that was in the movies. So
Okay.
Okay.
they're technically they're each one of them is like Amanda's 3 years older than Melissa. Melissa's 3 years older than Bryan.
Well, Melissa's the one then that was the psychologist.
Yeah,
So the
Yeah.
middle one.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
So, I mean,
Sybil.
they'd have both been probably in high school at the same time.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like he would have been what, ninth grade. Him going into ninth grade, her a senior in high school at the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's during the time that they're claiming that he was being bullied and all this by all the different people. He starts losing weight when he's on up in high school, starts acting very weird. She's probably in college during that time, so probably not even living at home. So it
Yeah.
might not have affected her friendships as much as what it would have while they were still in high school.
yeah,
Well, and it depends on where you live because each state, even here in Arizona, it's different. Like for us, junior high was 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then high school was 10th through 12th. But there's different cities where it's 7th and 8th, and then you go to high school
Yeah.
9th through 12th.
In
Yeah,
So
but
it would be
California, where I
interesting to know
was,
that.
junior high was 7th, 8th, high school was 9th, 10th, 12th. But here in Vegas, junior high is 6, 7, and 8. And then high school is,
oh wow,
well, see, whenever I was in middle school, when I started middle school, it was fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. But then whenever I moved just literally one parish up and started school there, their junior high was sixth, seventh, and eighth, and then you go into high school in ninth.
wow.
So it's I don't know what the other parishes are, but yeah, those two were different like that, but they were only just a parish apart.
So one of
Yeah,
the sisters
that's how it
lived in
is
New
here.
Jersey, Scarlett, and where did the other one live?
Where does this? I don't know because I
I
mean
just
she.
wonder if the one from New Jersey, if maybe she was the one that didn't attend. The
Could be.
I'm
well, I
thinking
don't know. She was home for that holidays then.
yeah, because it said well allegedly Bryan come home for the Christmas holidays and the two sisters came home for Christmas holidays.
oh,
So
okay,
But
they would
then
have all been at the house whenever Bryan got arrested.
okay,
maybe, I mean,
True.
if maybe the one that lived in New Jersey, but I thought you said she worked in New York. So, I mean, she might have wanted to be back in New York City for the New Year's Eve parties. I don't know.
Possibly.
She was
Yeah.
probably home
Yeah.
for Christmas, and that's it.
Yeah.
As much
Possibly.
as I would love New York at New Year's, I don't know that I can handle all the people.
Let's see. Papa Rogers says, panelists, I went to intermediate school in Southern Cali in Los Angeles. Which one did you go to, if not too much to ask?
Well, I went to school in San Diego area.
I went to school in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
I was in Mesa, Arizona, so not the Cali.
I just went to school in Louisiana.
There you go.
Long Beach, California.
Louisiana schools suck. Bad.
I would want to go to Long Beach. Pretty.
Well, I don't know if you'd want to go to school there because my junior high looked more like a prison than it did a school. But
Oh, wow.
yeah, I mean, they literally have wrought iron gates that go. I mean, there's a separation for the gate that opens, but there's no escaping except for through the front door.
Good.
Wow.
That's,
Like our high school, we had off-campus lunch, and then they ended up changing it. But my high school was 10th, 11th, and 12th, and we could leave. Sometimes I was bad, and I'm like, I don't want to go back. So maybe
yeah.
the bars or all that, the fencing would have been good because then I would have stayed.
Okay. Sybil put in chat, looking at the court appearance photos, I believe it was Melissa that was with the parents at the court. Okay. So it was just
I
the one
wonder
sister.
I wonder if Melissa's the one that they were thinking was at the King Roadhouse. Because remember, there was pictures, and they were saying because there was his attorney, and then there was somebody that looked like his sister.
Oh yeah, I don't think that was her. I think
I don't think they would have allowed his family to go to the crime scene.
Oh no!
I thought it
you
was
talking
weird
about?
too.
Oh yeah, when people were bringing up the girl that was going in the house with Little Liar.
Yeah, that looked a lot like his sister. Now she really did look a lot like her, but I just don't think that they would have allowed family
they
members.
Shouldn't have. That's
yeah.
why I thought it was so weird. But I'm glad you guys had said that it wasn't really confirmed because I kept hearing, "Oh, it's his sister," and I'm like, "But
yeah, a lot
why
of people
would they allow that?"
A lot of people thought that it was her. I mean, there's still, I think, people who think that it was his sister. I just don't think they would allow any of his family to go into that crime scene.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were standing on the road or like anyone else, but not to be all up in there, no.
Right.
Yeah, back to the house. I think it would be. I think everybody pretty much agrees that it would be a shame to tear it down before the trial.
Yeah.
But especially because, in my opinion, like the acoustics alone, like the 3D models, unless they're coming with acoustics, I don't think it's good enough.
I don't either.
Well, and even the layout, it's very different when you're there. Like, I bet if we went to that house and walked through it, even though we've seen the 3D model thing, we'd still be like, oh, huh.
And on the note of acoustics, seeing the inside of that house, and seeing the TikTok videos and hearing, how the voices carry alone when they're just being voices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm finding it maybe harder to believe than ever that people didn't honestly hear stuff. And Jeff H actually mentioned something in the chat way back when you guys were talking about it, that I think he mentioned that his theory was that maybe Ethan was talking to his girlfriend in the hallway when they said, "I'm going to help you."
Don't worry, I'll help you thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
I really hope it was, because that would when we were reading that, Greg and I were talking, we were on a panel, and I was just like, that literally made me sick to my stomach to think if that was Bryan, because, oh,
I
Well,
feel like I'm wondering if the the people that had the most defensive wounds, which would be them, right? I think. Um, I wonder if they probably heard what was going on, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember what the exact order is depicted as being, if there's any like official depiction, which I don't think there really is there?
no, there's nothing
it's
official. It's just
No.
Dylan's. If you go off Dylan, it made it sound to me at least that he started upstairs because she
yeah.
heard the dog playing or whatever, and then, it, and this is again just the way I understood it, that it sounded like it started upstairs, which is kind of what I thought, and then then Xana and Ethan.
What I don't understand is going back to the acoustics that you brought up, Brett, is that, based on the floor plan of the house, Maddie's bedroom was directly above Dylan's. So it's just hard for me to believe that, there would be some kind of a major struggle taking place and it not sounding like, somebody was coming through the floor.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, if she could hear Murphy up on the third floor on the other end of the house, and like she thought Kaylee was playing with Murphy, then how could she not hear something going on the same floor as her?
even after seeing a masked person in your house, and then you hear things, or you technically, I guess she would have heard it first, and then she saw him. If the order is when she saw him, it was on his way out. But I mean,
Right.
if the neighbor's camera could, or whatever, their system pick up the noises and the dog barking, that was what, 50 yards away, but you're telling me no one else in that house could hear it and they live
Exactly.
not 50 feet away. It just
Exactly.
doesn't make sense to me.
And y'all were talking about the order that it happened. They never came out and said like what the order with Kaylee and Maddie, because obviously that they probably couldn't tell, but they did say upstairs was first on the third floor, and then they said
Yeah,
something about that Ethan and then Xana was last. But if Xana's in the doorway or where she can be seen walking down the hallway through the door on the floor. It seems like and this is just my opinion, that she would have been third, and then he realized that Ethan was in the room because Ethan probably heard what was going on and jumped up. And it seems to me like maybe Ethan would have been last.
Yeah, I thought
yeah.
that too, unless it's possible that Xana was in that bathroom and he didn't realize it and, you know, had the altercation with Ethan and then Xana came out
Right.
and, he basically, pulled her into the room. I mean, I don't know. It that's crazy to me too.
Good
Unless
theory though.
he could have ran into, or maybe not even ran into, just coming down the stairs from the third floor, and he could have seen Xana going around the corner and her not even see him, and he just kind of followed her that way, and she might have went into the bathroom and shut the door, and he just went straight into her bedroom
Yeah.
and called Ethan, and then Xana might have come in at that time.
I
I
mean,
don't.
Ethan was a big guy, so I can't help but
Right.
think that he got somebody. I think can't help but think that Bryan got the drop on him somehow.
Yeah, I
Because
think
I'm
maybe he had dozed off and she was just taking the bag back to the kitchen or something like that, because there's no way Ethan wouldn't have put himself between them two.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
seemed, just by what people have said about him and seeing how him and Xana were together, it seems like he would have done what he could have done to protect her.
Yeah.
That's how I always felt too.
Ow. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure I haven't missed anybody in chat.
You're doing good. You always keep up with it really well.
But
Yeah,
wouldn't you
I
think,
try
going back
to.
to Maddie's room, wouldn't you think, though, that in the course of a struggle, one or both of them would have, like at some point, been knocked up against the wall, or Bryan, I think you mentioned Scarlett probably lost his balance. I mean, it would just sound to me like there was a free for all going on up there, and then there's Dylan's room right below it.
Yeah, I don't believe
Yeah.
that she didn't hear anything.
No, not
Well,
unless
we
she.
had kind of gone over where it said, like in the affidavit, that she went back in the room or she was on a different, I can't remember exactly, but it almost made it sound like maybe she didn't start the night out there, but then went up there. I don't know.
I
It's
think it
just, it's very
says
confusing.
she originally fell asleep in her bedroom on the second floor. I believe is what it says. Hold on, I can find it. Let me.
Yeah.
I still got
It
the
was like,
PCA pulled up here.
oh, okay. Because it was
I,
like the way it was worded, you could kind of think that maybe she didn't start out there, but eventually went up there, or, I mean, because we also don't know how long she had been moved into that room. Because again, in the beginning, we were told that both of the people, the ones that were alive, were sleeping on the first floor. And then we see the affidavit, and we're like, wait, I thought they were both on the first floor.
Well, I think it indicated at one point that she had actually, it suggested that she started out in her room and then went downstairs.
I never
Yeah,
heard
it was something
about
I
that.
kind of remember hearing, but my brain gets things mixed up, and there's been so much. We don't know much, but we all go over what we do know, like with a fine-tooth comb, trying to make sense of it.
okay, so it says DM stated that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. She stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonsalves playing with her dog.
Okay.
I don't think it says anywhere else on here where she was in a
On the
different,
first floor first.
yeah, in a
Yeah.
different. But that's, I mean, whenever all this first happened, they kept putting it out that her and Bethany were on the first floor and that they both slept through the whole
Yeah,
Yeah.
thing.
right.
And when Howard Bloom had came out with his, I believe it was his first or second story that he had came out with, he's talking about Brett Payne going into the house, and whenever he walked into the front door on the first floor, that he noticed that there was two bedrooms, and he opened up both bedrooms, and it looked just like a normal college kid's room, and they like they had both slept through the whole thing and didn't hear anything. But obviously that can't be right because the PCA says something completely different.
Yeah, I think they said that now that we saw the PTA. My thinking was that they were trying to make it so people didn't zone in on one of the two of them as being the person. So if they're both on the first floor and they both don't hear it, then you have that kind of story. And police are allowed to lie.
True, but once the
It's
PCA
weird to
comes
put it out
out,
in a public statement, though.
yeah. I mean, if they didn't want to tell the truth about it, why say anything at all? Why even bring up that there was survivors in the house?
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, why
The
just
only
why not?
other thing I thought of, sorry, go ahead.
And no, I was just saying, why even just leave it out? You know, don't even
Yeah.
mention anything about it. I'm sure the public would have eventually found out about this about the two girls, but why even put it out that there was survivors in the house?
Yeah. And the only other thing I thought of is maybe they were trying to make it where people didn't know that they were both there on the first floor. And also, I think what I was really trying to think of, and my brain just remembered it, was maybe she did multiple statements, and in the first statement she's like, yeah, no, I was on my bedroom in the first floor, and then they interview her again. And I've said this on other channels, I'm like, can you picture being the law enforcement person who's taking her statement and he's thinking, or she, I don't know if it was a guy or girl, was thinking to themselves, okay, you didn't call the police when you saw a person. Okay, and then okay, keep talking. Just like the shock and awe of like, you shut your door and locked it? What?
Yeah.
I can
I mean,
understand the shut
you're,
your door and lock it and call the
yes,
police, not shut your door and
exactly.
lock it and wait 8 hours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That just
same
doesn't.
here.
I
But
was gonna.
okay, so they came out and said, well, they didn't really come out. It was another source that came out and said this, that Ethan's best friend, that Dylan called him, he comes over to the house and checks on him and finds him. So could it have been, and this isn't a reason that Dylan should have waited 8 hours, but could it have been that she was trying to get in touch with somebody to come to the house and she couldn't get in touch with anybody because of what time it was in the morning?
Well, I'm
And
betting she did get a hold of people that came over to the house
I mean, I
way
don't know
before
why.
way before noon.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
that's
why
what we've
not just
kind of
show up?
heard.
I mean, yeah, I mean, and like I said, everybody wants to you know, say whatever they think about this Kim lady. That's what she's saying about her daughter knowing before 9 or 10 o'clock or something like that. But
Yeah.
the only reason I believe that that's got to be somewhat true is just because the Gonzalez family has come out and said that they started getting phone calls between 9:30 and 10 about Kaylee being dead.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
there
that
was
wasn't a
that,
mystery. I didn't think.
was it Dave that was on Turkey's channel where they interviewed, he
Oh
came on
yeah.
and he was, yeah, and he almost corroborated it, that they did know hours before police was called.
Yeah, wasn't it
Well,
in a Snapchat group thing or something like that?
Yeah. Hmm.
But so now I heard it was like 60 people in this Snapchat group chat thing. Why didn't one of those 60 people call 911?
I know.
it,
Why
Well,
didn't
they did say
somebody?
there were different stories. Like they had heard that, I can't remember what he said. It was either, I don't think it came out till later that it was that they were unalived by the knife. But still, if you hear that, my first question, no matter what my age would have been like, who called the police? What the police say?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have even asked, okay, well, has somebody called the police? I would have called myself and been like, okay, look, this, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's being said that somebody is dead in this house. Can y'all please go check it out and just check
Yeah,
on the people? You
It just
know,
depends on the reason for her. There's something else, obviously. Whether it
yeah,
was drugs, everybody seems to theorize that she had drugs in the house and she was trying to get everything out of there and blah, 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 whatever
yeah,
reason. But I mean, I can't imagine that there's no reason because supposedly it was what the the girls' fraternity or whatever that was called about it.
yeah, that's what I'd heard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
so
you have to call when something happens. You have to call them first or something,
oh yeah,
whatever their rules are, something like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
but I
right.
mean, somebody there should have said something. There's no reason. I mean, can you imagine being part of that fraternity and knowing this and either going over there or knowing this for hours and thinking, well, why aren't the cops there? How come?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
No, it is weird. And the crazy thing is, I know some people get upset when you kind of talk about, well, why did it take so long? I've always said I don't think that even if they had called right then that anybody could have been saved, but you just never
no,
know.
definitely not.
But
No,
No, but
with
they
that
could
kind
have
of knife,
the investigation would have started sooner,
Right.
and
yes,
and
yeah,
we'll never know that now.
Right.
yeah.
no,
Well,
We will never know whether they could have been saved or not.
Right.
we don't.
I
But with the
mean, well,
way
the
that that
coroner's
knife
report's
was,
going to reveal all that. There's no.
Yeah. I mean, literally in 8 hours' time, not to be morbid here, but rigor mortis probably had already began to set in.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
definitely.
okay,
In
so
and out, in fact.
Gabrielle has a question. She was just saying, I was wondering what you guys felt about what Kim is saying.
Well, I've never listened to any of the interviews of what she said. I've just heard bits and pieces of her saying that her daughter knew about what had happened at the, or maybe not what happened, but what was going on at the house before 10 o'clock. And like I said a few minutes ago, the only reason that I would tend to believe her is that I believe the Gonsalves family when they say, I don't know if it was Autumn or if it was the younger one, but one of them
Just getting
kept getting
messages.
phone calls and messages. So she went downstairs and said something to her parents about so and so is saying that Kaylee is dead.
Yeah,
And this,
Yeah.
wasn't it a cousin or
yeah,
their niece or something that was sending the messages or calling about it or something like that? It was like a family member.
yeah. But
Yeah,
if it was a family member, why didn't the family member call the cops?
and I think
How
they
did they
said
find
that
out?
she'd been shot.
Yeah, saying that she had been shot, but I mean, how did that person find out about it though? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And why didn't that person call 911?
I don't. There's got to be some reason why 911 wasn't called before, but it's not. It's gonna be a bullshit reason, in my opinion.
I don't even care if they were trying to get drunk. I don't care what the just tell me what the reason was. I mean,
Right.
if
Yeah.
I can't see her being scared, that scared still once daylight. I
Yeah.
mean, 'cause you can
Because
look
cops
around
are
and you
going to
can.
give 0x about drugs being in a house because their main concern is going to be who did this and who else could they be hurting.
Right.
I know kids
Yeah.
don't always think that way, but when it's
Well, I'm
something like
sure.
that, you even hear all the time cops will put out, like on certain cases, we don't care if we don't care what you were involved in. We
Yeah,
just
they
need to
even
figure
said
this
that in
case out.
the Kylie Rodney case. We don't care about
Yeah.
that crap.
Yeah,
Yes.
because at that point, it
Exactly.
doesn't matter what's in the house or what you had even been doing that night. It's just the fact that we need to start the investigation and find out who the person was who did this. So they don't do it to
Exactly.
another
I agree
person.
with you, just Amber.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. Just Amber said in the chat that I don't think that Kim is lying. I think she might be running third party and embellishing stuff. But the one concrete
Some of
thing
them.
is what Vapor mentioned, in my opinion. I think that we already knew that that
Well,
others were called and they showed up and all that.
the whole Kim story can be proven or disproven from the text messages on her daughter's phone. I mean, law enforcement
Yeah.
can find that out.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure they already have.
And the
Oh yeah, definitely.
Snapchats.
They already know
Because
everybody, Dylan, Bethany, and they know who they contacted, when they contacted, and I'm sure that they've subpoenaed everybody that they contacted to see who they contacted.
There was
Yeah.
probably a
definitely.
lot of subpoenas for phone records and social media accounts and everything else that we just don't know about.
Gabrielle,
Yeah, and I think I
about what?
remember Kim saying that she did call the FBI or the police. She did call law enforcement after her daughter told her all this. So
Yeah. I really believe though, and Vapor, you had brought this up earlier, is that kids, I mean, they're empathetic to a point, but they're also like, not afraid to video things. And I just feel sure that there's pictures and video that was taken inside that house before the police ever got there.
Yeah, definitely. If it's true that people were supposedly summoned to the house for some reason between 8 and 9 o'clock, there's no way they didn't take pictures or video.
yeah, not with kids in this generation. There's no way.
Because, I mean, they're literally taking pictures and videos of everything,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So, hey, K-Bird, how are you?
You know what's interesting is that nobody has ever said, I mean, I know that they said that Hunter found Ethan and Xana, but nobody's ever said who was the first person to go upstairs to find the other two.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I've never heard.
I wonder if this was Hunter that went in and found Ethan and Xana. I wonder if he went upstairs or if they just immediately called 911.
Well, I thought they
And
called
left the
911
house.
while he was still in the room with Ethan and them.
Maybe just because I'm older, I would
Was
automatically think, okay, well, there's two more people who live here that are not around. Let's go make sure they're okay.
Yeah,
right.
that's
I
the
mean,
thing is, I mean, Hunter probably, I mean, I can't imagine him not saying, where are the other two?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, where's Kaylee and Maddie? We need to go check on them, make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
that's what I think is weird because, like you said, no one has mentioned that anyone or who went up and found them. So it is very weird.
Yeah, I don't, it's just strange to me. I don't know. I mean,
Elliot,
I
hold
know
on.
that if I would have been somebody that was called over to the house, you know, I would have taken pictures and video. There's no
Yeah,
way that you would have run into a scene like that and not been like, what the hell is going on?
exactly. That's what I was
I
gonna
mean,
say. You walk in and it's just human nature to be like, am I seeing this? What the hell?
well, and even at that point, to even cover your own ass about where you were in the house and where you walked and what, you know,
True.
I don't know. I'm curious I mean, I'm sure that'll come out too. You know, at some point, somebody's going to have to say who discovered
Okay,
Maddie.
hold on.
Yeah.
Wait. We have Xana's friend in chat. Hold on.
Hmm.
I gotta go back to the chat.
And I was looking to see
Uh,
if
Crime Crazy, what is their name? I'm going back to the chat real quick. Is it Angel Girls? Is that her name? I'm sorry, Louisiana.
that she didn't have a
It
relationship
looks
with
like
her
that's who
mom.
it
Oh
is.
yeah, with her mom. Yeah, there's no reason for anybody here to be any way, shape, or form mean to any of the victims or any of them.
No.
And at this point, there's really no reason to be, you know, saying anything about any of the families either. I mean, they haven't done anything. They've lost more than any of us could probably imagine.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And then
that's
you
what
have,
irritates me is being disrespectful to the victims and to their family.
Yeah.
no, because they didn't ask for this. They didn't
Right.
ask for anybody to go in and do what happened to them. And it's just, it's so unbelievable. And I think that's why it has caught so much attention because you're just like these young adults were starting their life. They were successful. They were getting great, grades. It's just, it's heartbreaking. And I'm really sorry, Angel. You saw her grow up. I can't even imagine hearing this about somebody I knew.
Well, I'm kind of if of the mindset that although I think that people very well and most likely did take pictures and videos, but I think that that's disrespectful to the families myself because who would want their family members videoed or pictures taken care of that had met a gruesome death
Yeah.
like that.
No, that's why when we first heard of it and we heard there were two survivors, I just thought to myself, could you imagine seeing? Because we've heard the police say what a horrific crime scene it was, and to think that they had to see that, it's mind-boggling and it just breaks your heart because that's going to be with them forever.
Yeah.
Oh, she
Yeah.
said they have lots of videos when she was in gymnastics and her mom
Oh
was never at the
yeah.
meet.
Okay.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I
I don't. I just heard. I mean, I've only heard what everybody else has heard is that she's kind of been estranged from her mom from a long time, and that's kind of sad. And
right.
you know,
But even though that is the case, and Xana's mom had the issues that we've heard that she had, she still lost her daughter.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
just
You could see the heartbreak on her face when she's done the interviews, and You can tell she's probably still struggling. I don't know now. It's been a while since I've seen anything with her, but your heart goes out to her because could you imagine struggling with an addiction and then having this happen to you?
Right.
It
I mean,
almost makes you, it could make you spiral or it could make you say, I'm getting better, you
right.
know.
I mean,
I
she
hope it's the
has
other.
all
Regardless,
the court
reg-
stuff that she had going on, the addiction, you know,
Yeah.
did this, and then I couldn't imagine,
yeah, I
honestly.
mean, regardless of the problems she has and all that, this whole situation has taken away any possibility of her ever getting clean and having a relationship with her daughter later, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
it's a good point.
It's just heartbreaking all around. Like I just remember seeing the interviews she was in, I think it was News Nation where most of them were, and you just
Mhm.
felt for her so much because, you know, again, I don't care what anybody's struggles in life are. This woman lost her daughter. It doesn't make her a bad person. It just makes her someone who lost a daughter in a horrific way. And I just kept
Right.
praying and hoping that she's able to not get worse and do better, you know, for
No,
Yeah.
her and for
I
Xana.
agree with you, Angel. I mean, I was pretty much a professional athlete at one point, and I never did anything but work out. I didn't. My friends did drugs when I was growing up, and even though I would hang out with them, there was no way I was going to put in jeopardy all the hard work. And so I understand, yeah, where you're
Yeah,
coming from, and
and
with Xana's
people,
hard work and everything. There's no reason to. You know, you either have things that you enjoy doing. Everybody has things they enjoy doing. Unfortunately, some people enjoy doing things that are detrimental to them. You know, and
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
eh,
nothing that I've seen about Xana in any video or anybody that said anything that would ever say that she would be any type of a person like that, especially because I mean, my two kids, I raised both of my kids by myself because my ex got into drugs, and neither one of my kids will have anything to do with it just because they watched what happened with everything with her.
right.
Yeah.
And Angel said there's one video up saying that she was a drug dealer. I always feel like I have to defend her. You are all welcome to see how hard the training is. Yeah, I that's what pisses me off is people saying that Xana did drugs, was selling drugs, and there's absolutely no proof, nowhere at all that this girl did that.
Mm-mm.
No,
But
I
they
don't
are
believe
putting it
it.
out as facts. And
Yeah.
I don't know where they're getting it from. I don't know if it's because of the issues that her mom had, but just because her mom has some type of addiction doesn't mean that Xana was doing that stuff. And
Right.
people
Yeah.
need to think about the fact that Xana still has a sister and she has a dad, and yes, she has a mom too. And
yep,
I'm pretty sure, even though Kara has an addiction, I'm pretty sure that it hurt, and she probably knows Xana didn't do that. And I'm pretty sure it hurts her just like it does the rest of Xana's family and her friends that people are lying saying that.
Yeah.
I
no, I mean
mean,
People need to be
the
more
people.
kind about the victims and their families because you do have people like Angel who is probably just trying to stay up on what's going on and finds channels who talk about it and to hear bad things that you know are not true.
right.
You know, we will, a lot of us will speculate on things, but we make it.
I would never, even if she did do that, it has nothing to do with the case, and that is not a reason for her to be murdered. But to sit there and say that she did it with absolutely no proof is people that are out there doing it for clicks and views and wanting money. And there's people sitting in their chat that will believe anything and will run with that. And that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that pisses me off. That is so disrespectful to that victim and to that victim's families. And it's disrespectful to the other victims. Her and Ethan were together as a couple, and they're putting that out about her. And I don't think that Ethan's family would believe it, but
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just why do that?
It's
Just for
reckless.
a fucking super chat. Like,
yeah.
why would you do that? I mean,
Yeah.
are you that hard up for money that you got to do it?
Well, I'm sure. I mean, Angel, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to find anybody on this channel anyway, trying to push that narrative,
Oh
because
no, because
there's
their ass they would be booted.
yeah, they would get their ass kicked right out of
Yes.
here before that. I
Yeah.
mean, half the time these mods kick people out of here before I can see it, and I'm sitting there lost, going, "What happened? Tell me what they said." But I never get to see it.
Yeah, I'm not. We've had to boot people out before for being disrespectful to these kids. I will not.
Why would anybody
put up with it.
attack you, though? I mean, you said this is the first time you've not been attacked for speaking your mind. I mean, everybody has their opinion, but for somebody to attack you, that's just
Why?
you're
Because she's
definitely on the
defending
wrong
Xana?
channel. Yeah, why? I mean, everybody that knows Xana, and I don't even know her, but everybody that knows Xana would defend her.
Yes. She's
Yeah.
a victim. Her life was taken away from her, and what was she doing wrong? Nothing.
Yeah.
Living
I
her
mean,
life.
Exactly. That's all
it's
she was
pretty
doing.
tough for us to even blame Dylan and Bethany, and they didn't die,
No.
So I mean,
I
it's
mean, they're
questionable
victims.
for a lot of stuff that we don't know about, but there's a lot of stuff we don't know about. So, I mean,
And Angel,
for-
you're more than welcome to come up on the panel if you want to, or if you feel more comfortable in chat. That's fine also. But just
Yeah, I
know,
mean-
in here, nobody is going to talk any disrespect towards Xana or any of these other kids or the families, because me and the mods don't put up with that.
No,
That is
at least you found a good place that you can come and just talk.
that is ridiculous. And
Yeah,
that's what
you're-
makes me mad. I'm not trying to cuss. I do apologize, but it just pisses me
do
off.
I think the thing about Xana that breaks my heart the most is that
everything.
in the interview with her father, where he was saying that Xana kind of was trying to find herself, and then she met Ethan, and it's like her whole life just kind of changed.
I remember hearing something about Jazzy saying that her and her dad never thought she was going to have a boyfriend, and then she met Ethan, and
Right.
And that was it for her, yeah. That's the kind of the way I've heard of the relationship being explained. You would think that they were the couple that met in college and ended up getting married, having a family,
Right. And Don, you're breaking up just a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you, sis. I love y'all too. So you are all very welcome to watch some of the old videos. It's mainly my babies, but Xana was there at all the meets. Ethan was her very first boyfriend. She was in the gym all the time. And those are on your channel, right, Angel?
Oh wow.
Let me grab her channel link. And Angel, is it okay if I share your channel link on here? Oh, y'all.
Yeah, very, very sorry for your loss, Angel Girl. And my thoughts and prayers are definitely with all the victims' families and friends and anyone who ever knew them. And,
But her getting attacked.
I pray with my whole heart that they
what kind of
find
people
justice.
are going to attack you?
That's
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
pisses me off.
It's just the way it is these days. They think that they don't have to be accountable for anything because they're on a monitor.
Wow.
That makes me mad, and I hate that happened to you. And we lost Dawn. That just thank you. Wait, what, baby? I was trying to find a link, and then I had to remember that on a computer I don't have to go to the about page like you do on a phone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that is just. I hate that happens because there's no reason for her to be attacked.
No.
Is there a way to get a hold of you, Angel, on your channel? All right, you have a good night.
Not Angel.
Wait, let's see. God bless you all. Praying for tomorrow. Crying, gotta go. Okay, Angel, have a good night, honey.
Good night. God bless.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't understand somebody that would. I mean, what kind of a? I
I
don't
don't
understand.
understand it. That's people with no morals or no respect for people, especially the deceased.
Yeah,
That's what that is.
for sure.
That is just it for anybody in this. I've said it again. I'm gonna say it. I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again. I don't tolerate people being disrespectful to people who have died or their families, to our veterans, active military, the elderly people, or to animals. Don't do it. That is just a serious way to piss me off.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I can't wrap my head around her possibly going on other channels and trying to defend Xana and people attacking her for it makes no sense at all.
Just people who don't care. And yes, Emerald Queen, thank you, and kids also. I don't get it. Autumn, how are you?
Yeah, the only place I ever heard that was hearsay online.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's got something to do with this Dave guy now.
It
You
and
know?
an,
was.
and another other group of people that you don't disrespect around me is people who have been SA'd. Don't do that either. I'm sorry, y'all. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
It's just I don't understand it.
Some people just they wasn't raised with morals or respect for people, and they think that they can just run with some wild ass allegations and post it as something that is the truth and facts, and they don't give a shit who it hurts as long as it puts money in their pocket.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, what? I mean, come on. How? I don't know. I just don't understand what. How much money can you make off of this that is worth that?
I don't know. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just that you put you tell them to take a pick. Is it morals and respect, or is it money? And they're gonna pick the money because that's all that matters.
Yeah.
They don't they don't care about anything else. So
I
recently,
find it ironic that some shows will complain about sources being anonymous, but then bring anonymous sources. That's all I got to say about it, pretty much.
yeah, they will use an anonymous source and post it as a fact. If we don't know, literally the only fact that we know is that 4 kids lost their life.
Yeah.
We know, and they have a person in jail for it right now. Allegedly, he done it. We don't even like. Other than that, we don't know nothing.
Nope.
I don't know. Let's see. Give me just a second. Let me look at something in chat. Yeah, make sure y'all, if y'all are the only people who are to use caps, all caps in the chat, is just the mods, please. Because that way it's easier for me to catch their comments,
Well, that's why I do it sometimes.
just to aggravate us.
No, not to aggravate you.
Oh, just to catch my, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. No, I mean if y'all tag me, it throws up my name in an orange box in my
yeah.
chat, and I can see it. But it's easier for the mods because I don't have to worry about like if I need to find one of their comments, have to go through all of the names when I can just look for the few comments that's in all caps.
They are in blue also.
Yeah, but it's still it's just My mind works different. It's just easier for me to find the all caps.
You know, I
Right.
never asked. I always noticed and never asked, but came to that assertion on my own, actually.
Yeah, it's easier. Let's see. I wish everyone could use all caps because my arms are barely long enough to read the comments. I thought I'd seen somebody else come in a minute ago that I didn't say hi to, but I don't know who it was now, and I can't find the comments. Werewolf Queen, thank you so much. She said, support for the victims' loved ones. Please get them a nice gift. That was very nice of you, Werewolf Queen. Thank you. And there was something else I was going to say now, and I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me in a minute. What was we even talking about a minute ago?
Well, one thing I'd like to mention, I'd just be curious what y'all thought about this, but so we know where Dylan's bedroom was in relation to the kitchen, which is supposedly the way that the suspect exited the house. And I think we've heard that the car was probably parked up on that street up in behind the house. So the person would have exited the house and then gone up through the woods and gotten in the car. And if that's the case, it's hard for me to believe that Dylan would not have heard the car
leave.
door close and the motor start and the car take off, and know that the threat was gone.
Well, I mean, you might hope it's gone, but did she know how many people might have been there?
No, not exactly, obviously, but she saw one person, and I think she had presumed that there was only one person.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's so much that we need to know about what Dylan did, and I don't know that we're going to get that from a statement from her. I think we're going to have to end up getting what law enforcement pulled off of her phone in order to get what might have really happened with her.
Hey, Betty Joe, how are you? I want to know how you can come on YouTube using a voice changer to tell the stories and victimize these victims. That's a good question, Betty Joe. I don't know. I'm just, if there was anything to do with drugs in that house, it has nothing to do with the case. It's no reason that's not even a reason for them to be murdered. I don't get it. I mean, how do we know that this voice changing, voice changer using person is even a legit person that's from that area and from that school and knew these kids?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do we even know that?
Well, allegedly they were vetted to that point, but that wouldn't make anything else any more less than hearsay. You know what I mean? It's still
I mean,
hearsay.
it's still an anonymous source.
Yeah,
You
to
know.
us especially.
Yeah.
But allegedly they do know their name and they know that they actually live in the area and stuff like that. Both of them. But beyond that, it's it's their words.
Right.
Matt, the only thing that and it might be the only truth in it at all. I have no idea, but you know, even on the official paperwork, it does say that others were present before law enforcement was ever called. So
Yeah. I don't know. I can't wait for 11 o'clock my time tomorrow.
me too.
It's literally 10 hours from now. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Oh,
I Go
sorry.
ahead. No, you're
Yeah,
fine. Go ahead.
going back to that because I wasn't actually here then. I think it's definitely not guilty, and um, I think that there is a probability that he'll engage for a speedy trial, just to mess with them.
He can retract that later too.
Yeah, actually, I guess
Yeah.
I don't really expect him to do it for the reasons that you already stated, Lost, because like it is all those terabytes. And speaking of those terabytes, I think that most of that is going to be people's ring cams and surveillance cameras going, and that's going to go all the way back to the maybe even the 12 times that they allege that he was around the area.
Right. And Roger, yeah, we won't be able to see what happened in court until after it's all over with tomorrow. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be some tweets going on as soon as that arraignment is over with. That's what I'm waiting on. But I'm still going to be up in time to catch the tweets and all of the news media outside and all to listen to all the stuff that they're saying.
I just think tomorrow's going to be anticlimactic. We're not going to get any more information unless he pulls something like pleading guilty. But, I don't believe that to be true. I just think that it's going to be an opportunity to see him, but that's it. I mean,
And I seen somewhere where somebody said maybe he feels bad for what he like because he realizes what he did to his family, and maybe he's going to plead guilty, just so they won't have to keep going through all this. And I'm sitting here thinking he's accused and been indicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder. He didn't give a shit about his parents, and he still don't now.
No,
Right.
the only way he pleads guilty is if they agree to give him a plea bargain
Yeah.
with no death penalty, and I don't even think he'd agree to that.
I don't
Okay,
either.
thank you, Emerald Queen. Yeah, now I told Troll that earlier. I don't think he's going to plead guilty, but I think that if he does come out and plead guilty, then more than likely there was a plea deal done.
Yeah.
But I don't think the magnitude of this crime and these 4 kids and the way that they're claiming, like we've heard the injuries in this from Mr. Gonzalez, I just don't see the state taking the death. If I think they're going to go for it. I don't think at any point they're going to take it off the table.
I don't either.
I don't see it, and I don't see Bryan pleading guilty. I think still in that twisted mind of his, it's him thinking that he's smarter than them, and they don't have enough, and he's going to beat it.
Yeah. Well, Steve's made no bones about the fact what he's for.
Right.
And I saw an interview, where he indicated that maybe not all the families, but at least I think the word he used was several families have like come together. I guess in support of each other. So I kind of wondered if there's not more than just his family that's for the the death penalty.
Yeah, because I remember when they were doing an interview with Xana's mom, and she said all she wants is justice. She's not the type. She's the type of person that's not for the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
She just wants justice.
Yeah.
Now we've heard Mr. Gonzalez like what they want, and didn't they say that Maddie's mom was also for it, or they were going to call her and ask her about it or something like that.
I thought he said something about we'll talk further with the other with somebody else.
Yeah, something like that. Hey Bernice, how are you? Now he also said on the interview that he did the other night with Ashley Banfield that they're going to be there and that there was going to be I think he said they were holding 9 seats, and then there was supposed to be two other two other family members or two other families that was going to be there tomorrow, and that they were trying to work it out to where they would kind of all show up at the same time in Moscow.
Yeah,
So,
just to show a united force.
right. So I'm wondering who the other two families are, because Santa's dad's like way down in Arizona.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's going to come up. I'm sure Maddie's mom, stepdad, and dad will be there, and I'm wondering about Ethan's family too, because they really haven't said a whole lot about the whole court part of this. They've
No.
mostly just talked about how Ethan was, like the type of person he was, and him growing up in their family part of it. I haven't heard them say anything about the court side of this whole thing.
I haven't
Well,
either, and I
his-
wonder if they're just kind of gonna just like lay back.
And see how and they could be doing that because of Hunter and Maisie. That could be a reason why, because Hunter and Maisie, they went back to the University of Idaho.
Yeah, so they're going to be there, but I don't know if they'll show up. They
For
may.
court.
I
But
mean, I can't imagine them not.
right, it's just they do have it to where the families who don't want to be in there in person or can't make the trip, and I'm sure that's including Brian's family, that they can watch it on Zoom. I wonder if who's going to show up and who's not.
Well, if he does ever decide to plead guilty, it's going to be within like 60 or 70 days, I'm going to guess, of tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because of
I mean-
the DP situation.
well, they could. I mean, they have 60 days to do it, but I mean,
Yeah.
if they already know what they're going to do, couldn't they just say tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, they just have up to 60 days. And I could have swore I heard that it was 30 days to begin with. I could have swore I heard that somewhere, but I looked it up and it says they have up to 60 days.
Yeah.
After from the day that he enters a plea, they have up to 60 days to let him know if they're going to pursue the death penalty.
Yep, and I think that's what it'll take for him to plead guilty at all, if he does.
Yeah, I still can't see him doing it, just because
Yeah, I
of
can't
the
see it.
ego. The ego is
I have a question.
okay.
Is there still hearings tomorrow about the gag order, or is that?
Yes, there is. Hold on, let me go back to the website. There is going to be, I believe it's a motion hearing, is what they said. Hold on, let me look on here. Okay, so they're going to do, let's see, order regarding notice of hearing. Oh, no, wait. That's the Zoom information. I got to find which one it is. Because I know they're supposed to do the arraignment first, and then there's one scheduled at 10 o'clock, and there's one scheduled at 11 o'clock. I want to say that the gag order part of it is the one that is 11 o'clock, and I believe it's supposed to be done via Zoom. And then the other two were going to be done in person.
So that could be interesting too.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Oh, no problem. I gotta find the court documents. Okay, at 11 o'clock with judge, they're doing a motion hearing. So I'm assuming that's going to be with the gag order with the Gonzalez family and the media coalition. And then at 10 o'clock is a scheduling conference. So the arraignment and the scheduling conference will be the two that's done in person, and then the motion hearing will be done, I believe, via Zoom. Hey, Jim J, how are you? So I wonder. I'm curious now, since y'all brought that up about the death penalty, if the state's going to come out and be like, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and let y'all know that we are going to pursue the death penalty.
Yeah, I wonder what the advantage would be, if any, of waiting to tell him that.
I don't know. Just to make him suffer through wondering if they're
Yeah, I
going to
mean,
pursue the death penalty. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, possibly.
Uh, Papa Rogers, I believe that there was some orders, but I believe that they were to vacate those because to begin with, they were both under Judge Marshall, and now they're under the new judge. Jim J, I'm doing good, but let me go back just a second. Just let me double check, make sure, because the second amended notice for the hearing. Oh wait, hold on. What is this? Okay, so there is a second amended order vacating the hearing and setting scheduling conference. So did they vacate it? No, it says here it is hereby ordered that the motion hearing regarding the Gonzalez motion to appeal uh, was scheduled. Okay, so they vacated the one that was scheduled for the May the 25th. It is hereby ordered that the scheduling conference regarding the Gonzalez's motion to appeal motion intervene will be for the non-dissemination order will be held on May 22nd at 10 a.m. So it was vacated for the 25th and then redone for the 22nd. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going back to the chat real quick. And I still wish I could remember what I was going to ask y'all earlier. And I can't remember.
But yeah, I could see that, Scarlett, is let him sit on it for 59 days.
Let him get his hopes up to, like, okay, it's 59 days. They haven't came and let me know nothing. Maybe they're not going to pursue the death penalty. And then bam, on that 60th day, yeah, we just want to let you know we're going to pursue the death penalty. I mean, make him suffer through it and then get his hopes up and then take it back away from him. I mean, that would be an awesome thing to do, but I don't know if they're going to. I don't know. It seems like if they can come out with it tomorrow and they already know that they're going to do it.
I mean, he has to know it's coming.
Right. But like Gregory was saying, is there any advantage to not coming out with it tomorrow?
No.
Other than making him suffer?
No, he knows it's coming.
I mean, might as well just come out and let it be known.
Let's get this show on the road with this guy. I mean, it's already going to be bad enough that it's going to be forever until the trial.
Yes. I'm still saying, what is everybody's time frame for the trial to start? What do y'all think? I'm going to say sometime 2025.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think it's going to be before then. And somebody said something in the chat like a while ago about knowing Anne, she'll probably try to get it scheduled like on Bryan's birthday or somebody's birthday or maybe the day that the murders happen. And if she does it like try to get it for that day or something like that the murders happen, she would get so much backlash for that. It wouldn't be funny.
Mm-hmm.
They can go ahead and sentence him to death on his birthday, though.
Yeah, it'd be a nice birthday gift.
Sure would.
With no speedy trial demand, I'd probably go with a year to a year and a half.
Yeah, minimum.
I'm gonna say summer 2025 is what I'm gonna say.
You think so?
Yeah,
More than 2 years, huh?
yeah. Look at the Vallow case. Look how long it took, and Chad hasn't even went to trial yet, and the kids were found on his property. I think Ann Taylor is going to say that they have all of these documents. What was it, 10,000 documents, 9,200 tips, 51 terabytes of audio and video that they got to go through.
But you have the best lawyer in the state.
Yeah, but watch and see if she doesn't try to get it. They're going to try to get it out as far as they can. And then whenever it starts getting closer to that time, they're going to ask for more time.
Yeah, I could see them do that.
Yeah,
she's going to say, especially if they come out and say that they're pursuing the death penalty, then she's going to be like, well, I need, this is a death penalty case. This is a life or death situation for my client. I need more time to build my case.
Or I need more time to bank more money.
That too.
Yeah, exactly. The judge can just say, stop crying. You got till next Wednesday we start.
Yep.
Yep.
Again.
Okay, so wait, I don't see. Oh, rebrief. Okay. I was wondering where y'all where you were seeing this person. Wait, little baby. Or is that Bra? Now that I see the picture. And they said schedule it for Halloween. So I'm going to go with summer 2024. I'm sorry, 2025, not 2024.
I don't want to wait that long.
I don't either. I didn't even want to wait till June the 26th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Can y'all imagine me having to be patient to the summer of 2024 or 2025?
You think they would hold him in that same jail all that time?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be housed there until his trial is over with.
Is he?
And unless they get a change of venue, and then they will move him to that jail, wherever the change of venue goes to. And
where did the Joker stay?
She was in Boise. That's where her court was at.
So she stayed in jail in Boise?
Yeah. And then once they gave, so after the verdict came down, then they gave, was it free? Because she's housed in Fremont County. So they gave them a week to transport her, and then she was transported back within I think it was 2 or 3 days. They had her back up in Fremont County.
Yeah, I just did the math on my fingers, and if he did demand a speedy trial tomorrow, which I don't anticipate really, honestly, but if he did, it would be December. I think it was December-ish.
Wait, it's 6 months,
I was
right?
given a few days, I guess. Yeah, so I guess it would actually be earlier than that.
Okay, see now, Brad, you got me counting on my fingers now. It's too early to do nothing, but yeah, it would be the end of November. So can y'all imagine if they scheduled it to start on his birthday? Hold on. Let me pull up my calendar. Give me a second. I want to see what date. November the 21st is on a Tuesday.
Isn't that his birthday?
Yeah. So can y'all imagine if they did start the trial in 6 months and they started it on the 20th, he would be sitting in court on his birthday.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Picking a jury.
Yep. Sure would.
I highly doubt that will happen, like you were saying, though, but that is what it would be, possibly, or maybe even sooner. Because if they did demand a speedy trial, the prosecution could play games by making it even sooner, too, I suppose.
Yeah. Good Lord, my autocorrect on my phone. Okay. Let's see. Emerald Queen. I don't know. I'll probably be ending it here in a little bit. I don't have to get up probably until 8 my time. It would be 6 Idaho time. Sucks that they're 2 hours behind me. Y'all, I need to figure out how to cut the autocorrect off of my phone. This is ridiculous. Every time I try to send something, and it literally doesn't type what I want it to type. Let's see, wait, what is this? Shit, I lost it. Hold on, I gotta find Jay's. Okay, BK is going to shrink into nothing. He's lost a ton of weight in the last 5 months. Jay, I'm thinking that too. I mean, he's sitting there eating peanut butter. It's probably about all they have to feed him. And surely he can't be gaining no weight on just peanut butter. Or rice. Can you imagine just eating rice? Message settings. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Wait, what a baby, because the whole autocorrect thing is irritating me.
Scarlett, did you read what Papa Rogers said?
Oh, hold on, let me find it.
Oh my God.
Okay, so wait, I'm waiting to hear. Nothing, Leah wrenches. What? Investigate. Oh, God. Papa Rogers, it's too early in the morning to try to figure. I got it once I hit the investigates. I'm covering the Moscow, Idaho case of BK. I'm expecting a guilty plea, so we'll watch them steal his kidney like in llamas with hats. Oh. Okay, you lost me on the last part. I just know whenever I turn it on YouTube in the morning, though, he's gonna be sitting there in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the amazing Tiff, how are you? Duckin, have a good night. Yep, I can see it now. It'll be something done from the bushes. Hey, Boots, how are you?
Yeah.
Vegan in jail can't be ideal. No, it just doesn't seem good. Like, there's only probably so much vegan food that a jail can give you. Like a very small uh, quantity of things that you can choose from. Hey, P Fox. You know, for rice, they probably are feeding him. I don't know if he eats beans. Peanut butter. Like, what else could he eat? Wait, JLR thinks that he's guilty but will plead not guilty, doesn't he? Probably, Roger. Applesauce? Because vegans, they don't. I don't know nothing about being a vegan.
Me neither.
So
Me neither.
I don't know exactly what they eat. I know that's nothing animal wise. I don't think they can eat eggs. They can't eat cheese. I don't think, because it comes from an animal.
Mm-hmm.
But like Yeah, and it's nothing against people who eat vegan because I know that it's for religious purposes or health issues. How do you maintain, like, how do you make it?
Could you imagine that?
No.
Tony Martin saying Brian will be home by lunchtime. Could you imagine for some reason he got out tomorrow and went to the Mad Greek to eat?
Oh, if he wouldn't make it out of Moscow, I don't think.
Oh no chance in hell.
No.
I really don't think he would.
Well, the grand jury indicted him, so he's definitely not
Yeah.
having lunch anywhere in town tomorrow, except for the jail.
Yeah, jail.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it doesn't
I
really matter.
predict if he ever gets out, Steve will be a hitman.
No.
Okay, so apparently inmates who are on a vegan diet should not be given any food containing animal products and must be able to obtain all the nutrients needed to maintain good health during their time in prison. But what are you going to eat that's going to maintain good health?
Beans and peanut butter. I don't know, stuff
I mean,
like that.
I know peanut butter is like a good source of protein, isn't it? But
Beans are too.
I just
Like, I mean, I don't mean like green beans. I mean like garbanzo beans, or So.
I don't know what kind of beans that is.
I didn't distinguish the difference in my thoughts between vegan and vegetarian when I was speaking about it the other night. So yeah, vegans even more.
Yeah, see, I didn't like. I've heard vegan and I've heard vegetarian for the longest time. I thought they were the same thing, just different names. Apparently, there is a difference between the two.
Well, for the record, either way, I stand on my words. I don't think that a vegetarian or a vegan ever did that to Buddy. I just don't.
No.
No, I don't either.
No meat, dairy. Don, I think that's what it is. No meat, dairy, or any product that can come from an animal, like no cheese, no eggs,
Well,
dairy.
didn't
Nothing
somebody
like that.
say in chat the other night that anything that has a face or a mom?
Yeah, that was me,
Yes.
and it's a quote from Prince, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because what was I watching? There was a show that I was watching just like a night or two ago, and somebody on the show was vegan, and they asked like, "Well, like, can you have this or that?" And they said, "No, nothing with eyes or a face or anything like that." What the hell was that?
I don't know. He's living off of hot Cheetos.
I don't even remember. It was some reality show that I was watching. Because they had asked about oysters because oysters don't have eyes, they thought, or something like that. And it was like anything with eyes or a face, they don't eat. Okay, so a vegan diet is based on plants such as vegetables, grains, nuts, fruits, foods made from plants. Vegans do not eat foods that come from animals, including dairy products or eggs. Okay.
Well, he's in the right place if he likes potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, that is what Idaho is known for.
That's the truth.
So yeah, can't even have honey because it comes from bees. Yeah, I didn't know about the food coloring though.
I'd freaking starve to death.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I eat a lot of vegetables because Troll has like 10 gardens planted here. But I just never being able to eat any type of meat, eggs, nothing like that.
Yeah, and a true vegetarian doesn't eat seafood either, obviously.
Oh, seaweed have it. Oh, God. Yeah. Like, I'm from the land of seafood, and all that. I would starve.
Now, my youngest daughter's a pescatarian, and they are like a practicing vegetarian, except they can eat fish.
Wait, scallops have 56 eyes. Oh, you know what? No way. Potatoes do have eyes. That is true. So they're Gregory. They're most like all vegan except for they can eat fish.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Which I've tried to tell her she doesn't know what she's missing with a good filet mignon, but she won't listen to me.
That's more for me then.
I mean, I don't have to eat like beef or pork every time I eat something, but you kind of still need it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's I I guess they're let's say stronger willed because I couldn't do it.
Well, her whole thing is, animals being killed, but it's kind of funny because I saw it not too awfully long ago where there was a short video clip featuring of all people Ted Nugent, and
Oh, Ted Nugent is awesome.
yeah, and he outlined perfectly how you actually kill more animals as a vegetarian than you do as a meat eater, and it was really quite eye opening, to be honest. But he was right.
Hmm. Okay, so Sybil says that vegans no gelatin, no jelly. Oh yeah, because okay,
Well, yeah,
the
the
gelatin
gelatin
is
is made.
from yeah,
Yeah,
from the bone in the bone marrow or something like that. So
yeah,
that's okay. So I was like jelly, like it's plant based. I didn't think about the gelatin. Yeah.
All kinds of pieces and parts ground up
Yeah.
and melted down.
Yeah. So I didn't think about that. I see that would suck. Because like homemade jelly is the best.
Well,
I just Autumn, they got some good discipline. All I know for to be vegan, I will give them that. Vegemite is also isn't allowed. Hmm, that is crazy, y'all. King Scarlet, have a good night. Let's see. Kill insects. They have bugs that are killed to grow vegetables. Some people, I mean, yeah, that is true. Some people though, they won't put anything on their gardens. A lot of people who do like just straight organic gardens, they won't put anything on their gardens. But they walk around in leather boots. Yeah, that is. I mean, Bryan had a leather sheath.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if he planned that to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna say I'm vegan, so how would I have a leather sheath?
Yeah. I think he's been a practicing vegan though for quite a few years.
Right. Didn't he say in one of those visual snow posts that he had made that he changed his diet up to try to see if it would help it? Yeah. They got a lot of hoe into too. Yeah, them organic gardens are a lot of work. Oh, let's say that. I just I want to say that's where I seen it at Emerald Queen was in one of those whatever that website was where he posted about all the visual snow stuff. He talked about changing his diet to see if it would help it or whatever. He only went vegan to make people buy new cookware. I'm Tappa Talk. Thank you, Bernice. Yeah, I would have been like, look, dude, if you don't want to eat in my pots and pans that's had meat in it, then you're just going to have to go somewhere else and eat because I'm not, just for you, I'm not buying new pots and pans. You're not that special.
Oh yeah, that's
You
crazy.
know, that's
bring them with you if you want them.
exactly. If you want to cook something, you do it, but you bring your own stuff
Yeah.
and do it.
I certainly wouldn't throw them away. I'd probably put them in a box at least or something. I don't know.
I don't know. He better get used to it though, because if he gets convicted, meat's going to be on the menu for the rest of his life.
In more ways than one, yes.
Well, that's the way I was.
Yeah. I just don't see them giving him a vegan diet in prison.
I'd make him work in the kitchen.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if he's on death row. I don't know if they.
Probably wouldn't let him out of the cell to work. But don't you know if he had to
I
cook
don't know if I
food,
want him around knives either.
yeah, even if he got life in prison, his crime, they probably wouldn't allow that. Wait, well, baby, that's what I would have told somebody like that. Like, if you don't want to eat food that's been cooked in my pants because meat has been in them, bring your own shit. Like a BYOB, BYOP, bring your own pots and pans.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to go out and buy a set of pots and pans just to accommodate your vegan lifestyle.
Oh, shit. I got to get up in a little bit and my phone's dying, so I'm going to get down for tonight. But thanks
Okay.
for having me up here.
Good
You're
night,
welcome.
Vapor.
Thanks
Enjoyed
for
it.
coming up.
All right. Good night, Greg. Bread to kill. Everybody in chat, you guys have a wonderful day on Monday.
Yeah,
You
Night
too.
Vapor. We'll see you there probably, or after. I mean,
Yeah,
after.
we'll be here to discuss why we're all going to be so damn upset about waiting until 2029 for a trial.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm probably fixing to end it here so I can go to bed. So that way I won't feel so bad whenever I have to get up earlier.
Well, I'm definitely sticking with what I've been saying, which is, if he's the guy, I hope that they prove it absolutely, so there's no wiggle room, and
Right.
and I just pray that the families get the justice that they're looking for, and whatever peace can be derived from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, especially if it becomes, I mean, even just life in prison or death penalty case, I still want them, even though a lot of us think that he's the person who done it, I still want them to prove 1,000% that it's him, and
Oh,
not,
yeah. Without a
you know,
doubt.
not
Yeah.
send some person that had nothing to do with it or didn't do it to prison for life or to, death row.
And that's my position as well, based upon all of our rights being equal,
Right.
whether it's us or them or anyone else,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, anytime it comes down to somebody going to court on, and they're looking at life or the death penalty, like you need to prove it 1,000%. So there's no, you can be sure at the end of the day, once the conviction is there and the sentencing is over with, that there's no doubts that you have the right person. And, you can't, for a prosecutor, they wouldn't have to sit there and be like, okay, did we really have the right person? Like you need to not have any doubts whatsoever.
And I'm glad he's got an entourage of, attorneys because, I don't want him at the end of this to go, I didn't get a fair trial. I wasn't represented well.
Right. I'm gonna be
Yes.
honest. I don't know a whole lot about Ann Taylor. I don't know a whole lot about this other attorney that he has. Just the little bit I've read, but I'm very interested to listen to how they represent him when this does go to trial.
Yeah, me too.
Because I can see them coming out swinging as soon as the trial starts and going over every little detail and questioning every little thing. It's going to be a completely different trial than what we've seen with Letitia or Lori Vallow.
Yeah, and I do think there's parts of the evidence that Ann Taylor's just going to be able to blow holes in.
Possibly, yes.
You think they'll keep the gag order in force? Because I pretty much do. I don't think they're gonna let us in the door any more than they already have.
Yeah, I think this new judge is going to keep it. I don't think he's going to do anything with it. I really don't. All right.
Well,
Yeah.
on that note, I love you all and God bless. Thanks
You-
for having me up, and it was great being here.
Well,
Enjoyed
thank you
it,
for coming up.
Fred.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
And I'm heading out to Scarlett. Thank you so much. Enjoyed it.
Oh, Gregory, don't be a stranger. Like, we haven't seen you in forever, it seems like.
I won't be. I promise. You have a good night, okay?
Okay, thank you. You too.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. And I'm about to end it here. So I don't know what all information is going to come out during the arraignment going on or before the arraignment even starts. But as soon as it is over with and all this information starts flooding in, I'm going to be getting all the notes that I can, screenshots of what I can, and all that to share with y'all tomorrow. Michelle, uh, what time is the arraignment tomorrow? Is that what you're asking? Because it's at 9 o'clock Pacific time. Be amazing, Tiff. Have a good night. Gregory, you have a good night as well. Ray, have a good night. See, I'm trying to make sure I say good night to everybody. Let's see, I think it starts at 9 a.m. It's 9 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock my time, Central Time. All right, so I'm out of here. I love you all. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you to everybody that come up on the panel tonight. And on your way out, if y'all have not, good night, Kenny. Thank you for joining us. If y'all have not done so, please hit the thumbs up on your way out. So I will talk to y'all tomorrow.